This version of It's Eric Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
Are you ready? I said, are you
ready? It's Eric Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear, it's Eric Nagel.
And thank you, Scott Shannon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am Eric Nagel, and joining me, as always, from the frozen tundra known as Arizona. Say hello to Jordan. Uh-oh. There you go.
Oh, no. There I am. Hi, everybody.
Hello. How are you?
I didn't unmute.
Let's get through all this stuff fast because we have a lot of stuff to get to today. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, do I even bother putting the graphic up anymore? I never know the right angle to point it. Should I?
Do it.
No, damn it, I got it wrong again. It's over here. There, right there. If you got the iHeartRadio app, do us a kindness. Go over there. Put us in the number one position on the presets. We're told it means something to somebody. If you're on Apple, Spotify, any of those places, do us a kindness over there. Go over and leave us a positive review. It does help out the program if you're listening to the radio version. If you want to join us live each and every week as we do this show, come over to our live rooms on YouTube and on Twitch, all under It's Eric Nagel. Like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. You can be part of the program and let you know when we go live and all of that stuff. Lot to get to today. It is the Oops All Radio edition of the show because there's so much stuff going on that we need to talk about. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. We may have a guest in about half an hour or so. I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to promote it until I know for a fact that this is going to happen.
Good idea.
Other than that, first of all, let's start off everything by saying, once again, Warner Brothers is probably one of the worst companies out there. And that's hard to do considering how the rest of the world is acting. Radio companies, movie studios, all of that stuff. Warner Brothers seems to be the worst for many reasons. But for this particular reason, last week on the program, we reviewed the new Red Band trailer for Peacemaker Season 2, which is out right now. If you are listening to this, it's available on HBO Max. The way we did it falls in suit with how we review everything else. You know, there's laws of fair usage for reactions, reviews, all of those kind of things. And I've been narrowing down the specifics of, like, you can only play a certain amount. You know, you have to have comment. It's got to be transformative. You got to do all of these things in order for it to qualify. Well, we did. We certainly did. We got the notice from Warner Brothers saying that, you know, we were in violation for playing the promo trailer. Now, this is something we've had problems with, like this microphone. This is something that we've had problems with for many years. The fact that you put out a trailer, a promo, it's a commercial for your property, for your product, for whatever it is. If people are playing your promos, your commercials, your trailers on their properties, let it go. It's free advertising. People are talking about it, whether it's good or bad. It's still engagement. It's still advertising, what have you. It's not like they're playing the episode or playing the movie, which I get. But for the commercial that you put out there willingly to get as many eyes on it as possible, you should not be flagging people for doing so.
No.
They continue to do so.
It's on YouTube.
Right. Warner Brothers, Warner Music Group is one of the most litigious ones out there. For anything that you play that has one of their music from one of their catalogs on there, not only do they say you can't play that, they don't do a profit sharing thing when it comes to YouTube and other platforms. They sometimes will just say you cannot monetize your entire program because you played a small clip of whatever. More times than not, they block you from worldwide. It's like, well, you featured something that had 10 seconds of this song in here. Your whole video cannot be shown anywhere in the world. The only other company I know who goes that far is NBC Universal, but that is also few and far between. Everybody else just says you can't get monetized. You can play it, but you can't make any money. Damn it. I got to fix this cable. You can't make any money off of this stuff. I went through the things. I have all our legalese from lawyers and all that stuff that usually you send to them, and it explains it in a way that it favors us. it gets kicked back within 30 minutes. I've never had a response that fast saying they declined your dispute. So I filed an appeal. Now, if they still don't agree with your appeal, it could lead to a strike against your channel, or it could lead to legal proceedings, right?
Right.
So at this point, it's like, I don't care. I know I'm completely right on this. I sent it over to them. That takes about 7 days till you get an answer, right? At the worst case scenario. The same night, technically early morning, if you will, they ignored the appeal. Now, the notice I got from YouTube, they did not strike the channel. They just said this: if Warner Brothers looks to open up a lawsuit, that they're allowed to do so. It would look terrible on their part. It would be great for us. It would look terrible on their part if they sent me a legal notice. Why? Well, we played a free commercial for them for a commercial they put out for a TV show that they were promoting.
Yeah, we were freely promoting your program that you had premiered this upcoming week.
Right. So it's not like we played the entire episode and just sat in the background and watched the whole thing. It was done the right way. So I don't know why we didn't get the strike, which fantastic, but it says whatever the time period is, that if Warner Brothers chooses, they could file a claim against us legally.
Like we're not gonna make you take it down, but we're gonna reserve the right to fuck you over later.
Right. I've never seen that happen, because usually with the appeal, if the appeal gets declined and they won't even go to court or anything like that, you get the strike automatically. We didn't. So what's the old proverb? Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
We welcome a lawsuit, but it's not happening. So Warner Brothers could never stop fucking itself. It's been terrible ever since the Discovery merger. We've talked at great length on this program how they've ruined television shows, how they ruined movies. They ruined their own streaming service by naming it after a channel that no one gave a fuck about. And that it dropped so bad, they had to put the name everyone did give a fuck about back into it. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say, how long till they get rid of Max too?
Right.
Just make it HBO streaming again.
Or they get rid of the H and it's just Bo.
Just Bo.
Well, we wanted to get rid of the B, but we figured that B have too many. What are you watching? I'm watching it on Ho. I'd watch Ho. I'd subscribe to Ho, wouldn't you? Ho Plus.
Yeah, switch over from the cock to watch Ho.
Yeah, I was watching it on the cock. Now I'm watching it on the Ho. This is the marketing that these companies should have in order. They're like complaining, not enough revenue. Yeah, well, you're riding too safe.
They're just not as forward thinking as we are.
No, they're not. They got to be open to more things and suggestions from the audience here. And since we're doing that, I'll parallel into this. Cracker Barrel doesn't know what the fuck they're doing either. Now, I'm not overly crazy.
Do you care as much about it as everybody else? Because the internet is just a buzz.
No, people just love to be upset about it. Yeah, this isn't ruining my life. What will ruin my life is if they get rid of the hash brown casserole and the chicken and dumplings.
Right.
Then
change your marketing all you want. If the menu changes, I burn the.
Well, there's menu changes coming. There's a new items for the fall, which I don't mind a seasonal menu. A lot of places do that. They add things. And besides, Cracker Barrel used to have summer menu on there too. You would have like a blueberry cobbler or a peach cobbler, something like that. You know, those kind of things that they add on to the regular menu. Perfectly fine. I don't mind a seasonal menu, specialty menu for something. It's when you start taking things off and then putting other shit on that nobody wants. We had this rant about Chili's. That they had the best spinach artichoke dip. They got rid of it, put that boring, awful queso on there, and people are dealing with it until the what?
That queso is bad.
It's very bad. And people will deal with that until the day they announce they're getting rid of the Southwest egg rolls.
Oh yeah, it was a protest.
You'll see that place burn down in an instant. Everybody will be ordering fajitas and just lighting the place on fire. It'll smell fantastic and be glorious to watch burn down. But Cracker Barrel, I'm not overly upset about this. I think the logo that they updated the logo, if you're not aware, I think it's boring. It looks like an avatar for an app.
It looks like you can make this in Canva for like on the free part.
Right, look at this. Canva. It looks like a belt buckle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, the CEO was on Good Morning America or something on ABC that I watched the clip of, and she said we're keeping the traditional or the legendary, whatever buzz term she was using, the golden brown color scheme. That logo is gold and black.
Gold.
There's no brown in there.
Well, that was the problem with the logo, is that they didn't like the brown in there to begin with.
The logo is fantastic. It tells you what it is. And it was sort of welcoming and comforting, if you will. I know it's a chain restaurant. People are saying, don't act like this is,
like the rocking chairs on the outside.
An authentic Southern style restaurant. I get it. But considering all your other food choices, especially if you're on a highway, and you stop, do you go to Steak and Shake? Do you go to a Denny's? Do you go to like those kind of things? Mm-hmm. You go to a Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel's fantastic. Right. Like you said, the rocking chairs all in front. Who doesn't sit there and relax for a little bit? It's fantastic. Then you go through the old general store in there. I've bought plenty of Christmas decorations there.
I was going to say, I've gone there, especially right now with all the Halloween stuff. I'll just go, and I won't even eat there. I'll just go to the general store.
Right.
I'll get some of their Halloween candies that they have. I'll check out all the decorations. That has become like a thing. And I've seen some of the redesigned stores that are kind of taking that away, and I'm like, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I know. Old Restless in the chat. The new logo is dull. It is. It's very dull. It's very boring.
Yeah.
It's like, say, I'll take a rectangle and I'll do that. Those fashion apps where they can remove like bloating and fat and stuff, where it just kind of stretches the thing. It like, when you see the celebrities, they put out like, oh, it looks great. And then everybody looks into the photo and go, oh, they're using that app because you could see like the lines bend next to where they are to adjust their thing. That's what it is. They took a rectangle and then kind of pinched it a little bit and put, oh, look, perfect. Done. Right. I'm a creative genius. I bet you it was somebody high up in management that came up with this. Wasn't their creative team, wasn't their graphics department. An executive said, hey, I kind of like this, and they went with it. Simple, easy. It's terrible. They got rid of the barrel because why would you keep the barrel if it's in the name? Doesn't need to be there, I guess, right? Then I didn't know about the old guy. All right, the old guy I always knew was part of the logo. What I didn't realize is the old guy was the uncle of one of the original founders of this restaurant chain. His name was Herschel. There's a menu item called Uncle Herschel's Favorite, which was just like this big Southern style breakfast where you got a little of everything, right?
Right.
So, and this is a guy, he was a real guy in overalls. He would go and make public appearances for the restaurant. He was like the ambassador, the living mascot, if you will, for this thing for so many years. So it's like, that's incredible history for all this thing. And they're wiping it all out under the guise of that they need to modernize it to get new diners into the restaurant. Because a lot of people are saying that, oh, the decor is too old and depressing. It's like, no, it's not. You know what's depressing is all the tchotchkes and stuff in your local Applebee's that's trying to show like we support the local high school team. Look, there's the women's field hockey uniform. No one cares about any of that stuff in there. But you walk into a Cracker Barrel and go, wonder why is there only half a rusted license plate on that wall there? What happened to the other half? Look, there's a gas can over the mantle of a fireplace. That shouldn't be there, but I'm intrigued. It's
a fire hazard, and OSHA should be called right away.
Tons of gas station signs for like roadside. Some lady who had a roadside stand selling rhubarb pies. Like all this old fashioned. It's fantastic.
Well, I know for a while there was a large rumor that this chain itself was very racist in its origins because they said that cracker was a term for whip and the Cracker Barrel was the whips that they would hit the slaves with. What they don't understand, a Cracker Barrel is literally a barrel for soda crackers in a store. And that's why it's like it's so hard to sit there and like everyone's upset about things and pissed off about what this could be. And it's like just give me the old general store.
Sometimes it's basic stuff. Good. I don't think Uncle Ben's was a racial slave thing. It was just somebody's old relative that made rice really good, from what I remember the story being. And they're like, well, you can't have an old black guy on there. That's why they got rid of Aunt
Jemima.
I almost said Mrs. Butterworth, but it's Aunt Jemima.
Didn't they get rid of Miss Butterworth too?
No, I think because she's supposed to be like a proper older British woman.
Gotcha.
So I guess that's not. You would think by today's standards that would be the racist thing, but apparently not. Yeah, it's not racist at all. It just was supposed to reflect Southern style living, slow, simple, good food, great place. Who doesn't love walking around the store? That place has all those old discontinued candies too. Not like they're the old ones left over, but they have a deal with some of these suppliers that make it just for their store. And you can go in there and you're seeing shit that you haven't seen in maybe a generation or two.
I know. It's so good. Or old, like weird sodas.
Right.
You can go find all those old sodas.
They have the pickle soda there. They've got the hot sauce soda, the bubblegum soda that I'd never see anybody buy, the Bazooka Joe one. Yeah, all of that stuff's there. Who doesn't like walking around those places? And then they still have the circular racks with books on tape for truckers who stop there. A lot of truckers go to these places because they're right off the side of the highway. They have books on tape, CDs, whatever. All of that stuff's there. You sit there and you go, This is in capturing a time that has been forgotten, and they're trying to push out. What new people are you going to get if you modernize the Cracker Barrel? I read some of the modernization was adding green and red accents to liven up the restaurant. The restaurant didn't need to be livened up. It was wood. It was nice polished wood furniture. It looked very, very Americana. A stone-made fireplace, animal heads, all kinds of tchotchkes, old rifles, things hanging. It's fantastic as it is. I understand changing food with tastes and things like that. If that fucking country fried steak becomes flaming hot, there's going to be a problem.
It's like, oh, that would be so bad.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. But
you
none
really
of this.
Don't have a lot of places that just do good old like comfort food anymore.
No.
And that's what you need. You need some of that stuff. That's what I want to make America great again. I just want the food back.
The only other place I could think
inherent
of...
racism could stay back there, but I want the food, damn it.
Yeah, wait, save the racism for after dinner. Then we'll resume all of that stuff. But for now, we're enjoying chicken and dumplings. We're enjoying a nice, chicken fried steak. A nice pork chop with applesauce and mashed potato, like all traditional foods you don't get anywhere else.
Pie.
The only other place I could think of is Bob Evans, as far as a chain goes, that would offer this
East Coast.
The what?
That's like mainly East Coast, though. You don't have them over here.
No, you don't have them on the West Coast.
No.
Well, you're not technically Southwest. They're in the Midwest, they're in the South, maybe it is a regional thing, I'm not sure, but it's a place where you walk in there, they've got, meatloaf sandwiches, they've got chicken pot pies, they've got all this old kind of stuff made from scratch, as they claim. You enjoy those kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
Financially, I was watching something today, the stock took a tank.
Yeah, like 7-point-something%.
It didn't really do well.
No.
But also they have some kind of investment firm behind the restaurant now. And the one guy I was watching was saying, and he goes, you'll start to know. And he's like, I forgot, it wasn't called investment firm. It was something else that they do. But some kind of financial group behind it that doesn't care about the people's opinions or feedback on these things because they own like 100 other restaurants. So if this
is
one
kind of like how like Yum Brands own, like, or whoever brand owns
something like a conglomerate or something, right? But there was another term for it that I'm spacing on this. But as the guy was explaining, he goes, "Yeah, if you find out," he's like, "if something starts changing like this and becoming boring and bland, and they just don't care, the service starts to suck." He was pointing out here the logo is very basic. It's clean, but it's very basic. It's unappealing. You don't really notice it in this version. He said if they have this kind of backing behind it, they don't care because they have several other or 100 other restaurants, chains, all that stuff that they're doing the same thing because all they care about is making the most money with the least money being paid. They don't care about the experience. They don't care about the customer. They don't care about this. And I'm sitting there watching this on a financial show, and I'm like, that's interesting that they're saying that, but this is the case. I'm wondering if there's going to be, I know we're starting to see backlash. I don't see, you had asked me at the beginning, am I as angry as everybody else? No, I think it just looks dumb and boring, right?
Yeah.
I want to see when they're modernizing some of the restaurants. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what some of the menu updates are, and deal with that, and then we'll go from there. But if this is really causing the backlash that it is, besides the internet hearsay, the stock going down, whatever, that CEO is going to have to. She went out there publicly to be the face of this. She said, all our testing and all the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Really? Because when that news piece came out, everyone said this is garbage and this sinks. So they're going to have to do an about face maybe, or do they just continue to ignore it and then wonder why all the stock is down and everything? Who knows? This could just be a knee-jerk reaction.
You're right.
But this is stupid. Don't fuck with the menu is the point with this. And then we don't really have them around here. Like, I have to drive quite a way to get down there.
I say my nearest one is probably about 30, 40 minutes away. They're not like enough in the area to be like, oh, this is going to affect my life. No,
right.
I won't go the same way I haven't been going, but I just think it's dumb. There's no reason for it, because like you sit there and you look at places like McDonald's that all their new buildings are all square and clean looking and slick, and
Wendy's is doing that too.
You miss all the shit everywhere, and the just, I don't know, the liveliness of it. Now it's just like this soulless, burger factory. And it's
you remember when we looked at those old photos of McDonald's when they had like the ceramic trees in the middle of the place? It looked like you were in a forest or in a place set. The benches, the chairs were all molded, customized to the feel of McDonald's. Fry Guys and other characters up on the wall. Like, everything was there. Back in the day when they used to give you those flimsy gold little ashtrays for your parents to smoke while you enjoyed your Happy Meal. Everything's changing.
I always loved when they had a smoking section in a restaurant, as if smoke doesn't travel.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, what's the point of this? But all right, cool.
All right, let's get
Enjoy
through
your
these.
side of Denny's.
Let's get through some of the chats here, and then our guest is here, so we have to say hello to him in just a second here. Intersect is saying the shape of the rectangle, I think, is supposed to invoke the idea of a barrel, but once again, this is a dissemination of the character in exchange for the same bland design that McDonald's uses. Yeah, they don't care. It's what looks good in an app avatar is like, that's good enough to be on the sign outside and the signs on a highway letting you know that, hey, you could pull off on this exit to go eat here. Nobody cares
that
about
logo
that.
was created within 3 seconds on Canva.
I know. An executive made it. It was not a creative person. An executive said, I was doodling around. I came with this. And they just went, yep, that's okay. Tom from Alberta, Cracker Barrel is a restaurant. I thought it was a guide to... Tom, we love you, but...
That joke was funny in Canada.
You don't need jokes. You don't need jokes. Internet celebrity Hellraiser 69's in the room. Uncle Ben's is next. And Intersect says, well, I have bad news about Uncle Ben's. Yes, Hellraiser. He's been gone for a long, long time. What is Steel Rod saying? They're ethnically cleansing my fridge. I will never forgive.
Jeez.
That's a bit horrible. Well, you know what you could say is like, soon as they came for Uncle Ben's, no one said anything. They came for Aunt Jemima, no one said anything. Then they came for me, the Hawaiian Punch dude in antlers, and there was nobody left there to defend me.
That's it.
That's what it is. I think that's how it used to go. Bartholomew saying, I go to Cracker Barrel specifically to get Big Red Soda. Yeah. Oh, I've had Big Red Soda. That's the one that tastes like bubblegum too, right? It's a Southern soda.
I think
or a Midwest soda. I know it's regional somewhere.
I think it's like it was almost like a red cream soda, I think.
Maybe.
If I'm thinking of the same thing.
I'm trying to remember, because I don't think I like that. When I discovered Cheerwine, which is out of North Carolina, that I loved. But
I do love
the
Cheerwine.
Big Red Soda tasted off to me. What is Intersect saying? He has gone right after Aunt Jemima. My friend wrote a Christmas card that talked about the year and said he lost his aunt and uncle and a pic of the back. That's pretty funny. That is pretty I would love to have seen that. Mr. Wawa Supervisor. Oh, I have a drop, by the way. Damn it, I didn't load it. Somebody sent me a drop of somebody saying this guy's name, so I got to put it in here for next week. I apologize, so we can play it every time your chats come up. The whole point of the restaurant is that it wasn't lively. It was supposed to be relaxed. Yeah. It was like a coming in for like a Sunday dinner or your grandparents' house. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to come in there and relax and enjoy the food. Get a big old glass of sweet tea if you wanted. That kind of thing. It was just to chill out and have fun, not be You know those little things that they put on the table now that not only can you pay your bill, but you can play like video games or program the music in the restaurant. It's that little dashboard that they put on your thing there. I don't need to play that. I have the little peg game that half the time it says, oh, you have 3 pegs left. You're an ignoramus. And then I go, I'm never going to beat this game ever in my life. And I played this thing for 40 years. It's just never going to happen for me.
Right.
Hellraiser saying, save the racism until after dinner. Sounds like I'm back at my grandparents' house. Yes, but that's your parents and you saying it to your grandparents. It's not the other way around. Wawa supervisor Bob Evans is primarily a Midwest thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that would make sense then. I know they're down south like crazy. When you go down to Florida, they're all over the place. So they're not bad. Let's see.
We just got a Zaxby's that just opened up, and I can't wait to go try it. I went by the other day.
I've heard of it, but they don't have it. What is it? A chicken place?
Think of what is that place you end up hating? Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's.
But they also have like wings where it's like sauced wings and things like that. So the menu's a little bit more robust than the Raising Cane's.
If they open a Zaxby's here, like in New York City or something like that, I'll be team Zaxby's because Raising Cane sucks. I'll never stop saying that. Big Red Tower, investors ruin every product. Unfortunately, that is the case. Hellraiser saying it, not just investors, the marketing. Well, the marketing comes from pressure on the investors to the CEO and the management up there where they're like, well, we got to simplify. How do we make more money? Well, the economy's pretty bad right now. I don't care if the economy's pretty bad. Tighten the belt, cut corners, let go of people, cheapen things up. We need to be making more money, but that won't work in the long run. We'll start losing. We don't care about that. We need to make profits for this quarter and then going into the fourth quarter for the end of the year. The fiscal year has to be up. Well, what about next year? We'll worry about it next year. It's just like the radio companies. We'll worry about it next year. Wawa supervisors, they announced and started testing this concept in like 10 stores last year. I'm wondering why we didn't hear more about it. I don't know. This is going on here. We have to get to our guys. Zaxby's is fantastic. Hey, there's Christian. Hello, how are you? We talked about you before the show. Jordan was playing something and it was coming through his microphone, and I go, "Oh, that sounds like Christian. What are you listening to?"
What are you watching with Christian? I'm like, I'm not. I'm watching this, and he goes, "Oh, it sounded like Christian."
Yeah, he was watching an Opie clip, and it sounded like Christian. Not the best compliment, but I understand. Casey in the chat said, I went to Virginia over the summer and made a point to hit up a Wawa. Wawas are fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think the Wawa summer hoagie thing's over too. But I'm in an area where you don't even go to those places. You've got German delis, Italian delis. You got all the authentic stuff. You go there instead of Wawas or Sheetz or any of that kind of stuff there. All right, let's move on to the radio stuff that we got here. Mm-hmm. Let's bring in our guest tonight. This is Garret Searight from Barret Media. Hello, sir. How are? Is this? I can't hear him. Is this on? Garret?
He's talked yet.
You guys got me?
Oh, there he is. Okay. Hello, sir. How are you?
That's weird. We usually don't have any technical issues.
Yeah. No, I put him on and I couldn't hear the switch over. I'm like, is he just sitting there and he's not hearing? I don't know.
Yeah, I can do the whole fake freeze cam. And
All right, we're going to time you and see how long you can go now, starting now. Garret is a news editor for Barret Media. If you're not familiar with Barret Media, it's a great publication. One of the few publications left that actually reports on radio, television, other things involving media and entertainment. You also used to do radio up in the Ohio area, right? How long were you doing radio?
So I worked in radio for about 10 years at the same company that changed hands, a couple of times, ran a couple of stations, worked on a country station, a sports station. So I've got just a little bit of experience of mildly pretending to know what I'm talking about.
Right. Are you working at Sirius XM? Because your whole background looks exactly like one of their cut and paste studios.
I have not made a deal yet with Sirius XM, but we can hope that someday.
Well, I'm sure it's coming. Apparently everywhere, everyone's making a deal with Sirius XM right now for no less than $100 million.
Yeah, I would be willing to accept like a tenth, a hundredth of that. Even if they could offer me $1 million, I'd be willing.
The bottom level of 6 figures, you'll never hear from me for the next 3 years. I'll do my job. I won't cause a problem. I'll be there and with a smile on my face. as most
At this
people
point,
would.
I would just take something from Hoagie Fest. I just am hungry.
That works too. I could, if we want to go back to the Cracker Barrel or the Big Red,
Right.
soda, like the Big Red Soda talk, I can be on board.
Are you a big red soda fan?
Yeah, so you guys are talking about it being like a Southern thing. I live in the middle of nowhere in Ohio, and Big Red might be like the third or fourth most popular pop in America if you poll
Wow.
people around it. And you're right, it is like a red cream soda, but it's really just sugar. Is what it is. What it is. It's just red sugar.
Yeah.
What you're putting down.
I only discovered. I mean, I thought it was a Southern thing because I only discovered it down south.
I think it's made in Texas, and I think it's a Texas thing. But
yeah, so is Dr. Pepper. Everything's all right. Fantastic. I wanted to have you on here to talk to you about your article that you put up there a few days ago. You did a report involving, like everybody else, the stuff surrounding Howard Stern, will he, won't he, with SiriusXM. I was reading your article and I was kind of curious to some of the things around here. And when I wrote you, I was like, this isn't a thing where I'm attacking or any of that kind of stuff. I was just kind of curious. In your article, to paraphrase a little bit, you said that, this was a brilliant move for him to steer into the rumors and everything and be open and honest about all of this stuff here instead of trying to either shy away from it or remaining silent until the day he comes back to make it as an announcement and everything. I wanted to ask you, though, we've been talking about it for a while now. This whole thing seems to be planted by them. So how is it that not just yourself, but other outlets are saying good that he's addressing the rumors and everything when they kind of created the rumors?
Well, so I think from my standpoint, I think SiriusXM is doing the good part by leaning into it. And I think there might be a difference between Howard planting the rumors and SiriusXM planting the rumors, because like Howard Stern would benefit greatly from a public backlash of like, if these idiots get rid of Howard Stern, I'm going to cancel my subscription, or whatever the case may be. If he can make that audience become militant to the fact that like, hey, this guy is still worth $100 million to you, that benefits him really greatly, because he's going to get a big fat check. And so my standpoint, I think, was that SiriusXM was doing a good thing of leaning into the rumors, because if you hear there's a reason that the story went mega viral, that nobody thinks Howard Stern matters anymore until Howard Stern got canceled, which I don't the idea, by the way, just sidebar, that
right,
SiriusXM is canceling Howard Stern. Well, that's not what is happening. Is this guy worth $100 million a year anymore? And you could probably argue that there aren't many people worth $100 million.
They definitely, I still think 100% that this was planted, not even by the Sirius side, by the Howard team that was planted there, that it did grow into a few different divisions of thought on what was going on here. Like you said, the cancellation thing, that was just people looking to hop on some kind of like hate train kind of thing, or get some kind of clickbait thing going on. He's canceled, whatever. And you go, he's not, nobody would cancel the guy. No matter what you think his worth is or what the company thinks his worth is. He's not a guy you're going to cancel because there's just too much around him and bringing in too much money around him to do that. What I found the biggest issue was that this all stemmed from an article planted in The Sun, of all places, which was no better than a National Geographic or an Inquisitor or any of those kind of levels, where they, going back 10, 15 years ago, they were still making up shit about aliens and other, science fiction stuff while stalking celebrities. And then it became that stalking celebrities and harassing celebrities became the bigger moneymaker. So they dropped all the other Art Bell stuff and they went right for, hey, we're going to, stalk these celebrities, track them, try to bug their phones, steal their text, find what hotel rooms they're in, all of that stuff. This got planted in The Sun. Now, if I could understand if this story broke, I don't care about whoever, you out there, whatever your political leanings are, but there are some publications out there that seem to be more credible legally than The Sun. Like if the Washington Post or the New York Times, LA Times, something like that broke this story, then you'd go, there might be something to it. But when you get The Sun, which is almost like the Daily Mail or the Mirror, something along those lines, not overly credible. And that's what built up this whole frenzy, was from that article from The Sun.
No, I think it's a fair point. It's the like you see the cover of the National Enquirer at your grocery checkout, and it's like 4-year-old girl gives birth to alien baby, and you're like, well, okay, well, I don't. You're right that it is that level, and so we didn't necessarily take the, hey, Howard Stern is unlikely to agree to a new contract with SiriusXM as much as we reacted to the reaction, right?
Right.
The idea that, Howard Stern doesn't matter anymore. He's irrelevant, etc. And like, well, that's all anybody's talking about is Howard Stern and SiriusXM. So it kind of flies in the face that he doesn't matter anymore. Right.
This is where my question to you about steering into the rumor. I was curious about this because it's obvious. I think because of my time working at Sirius for all those years and everything like that, I know for the most part how they operate. They live for a monthly press release. They live for an announcement of a celebrity signing or an artist signing or a channel rebranding, something like that, and then move to the next thing, then move to the next thing. They just look for the headlines. That's about it. They don't usually go after people they've had bad experiences with publicly, trashing them, that kind of stuff, saying he's not worth the money. If the company thought he wasn't worth the money, they wouldn't publicly say that, right? So that's why I thought a lot of this was coming from the Howard camp, and then through other people that I know and piecing other things together that were either around his camp, in his camp, whatever. The fact that his staff, who was also retweeting things and putting things out, which that place is run like the military. You do not step out of line, rank and file, to go off on your own without any sort of consequence. They never do that stuff. And then you start seeing people from the Stern team putting stuff out there, and you go, well, this had to have been approved. So they had to have given the okay. So it lends more to the fact that they were behind all of this.
But I still think that then that means that SiriusXM has done a great job. That they've
Sirius has or Howard has?
I think it's both. Because I think when you start the promo campaign of chaos at the Howard Stern show, and he'll address the rumors on Tuesday, September 2nd.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people listening to Howard 100 on Tuesday, September 2nd.
Probably.
It's probably going to be, skyrocket listenership because they've done the promotional work to make sure that people. So I think even if this is an elaborate ruse to announce a contract extension, it is, I think, in some aspects, kind of like Exhibit A of you can still make things really big, cool, exciting, and interesting, and it doesn't have to just be run-of-the-mill. SiriusXM has announced a multi-year extension with Howard Stern to continue his morning show. You can do fun, interesting, exciting, creative things in radio. And if this is what that turns out to be, I still think that's a win for Howard and SiriusXM.
Let me run this by you then, if I can. So we're in a time now where it's just a new version of the old adage where it says if they're talking... It's like everything's good if they're still talking about you. The old Hollywood thing. If they're still talking about you, good or bad.
All press is good press.
All press is good press. We're now in the thing where it's like even negative engagement is still engagement. That's all that matters. If you could put out a video or a post and getting shit on in the comments and everything, and they don't care. It's like, look at the engagement, look at the numbers. Right. You generated something that will somehow translate into money, into popularity, into subscribers, whatever the situation may be. This is one of those things where, moving a step away from the fact, I think the Howard people planted this on their own. You're right. It generated a lot of buzz. It generated all these people talking about it. Celebrities were talking about Kimmel. All of these people were bringing this up. Here's the next step that I have a problem with this, and I want to get your thoughts on this. So you do all of this. It actually works. It builds up. This is like somebody posting something, some kind of comment and a photo on an anonymous Twitter account, and that becomes the basis of a massive online promotion, online speculation, online whatever, internet drama. Well, where did it all stem from? Well, from this one account that had no avatar, and they posted a photo. That thing caused all of this stuff here. That's obviously what they did. But you get to the point where, okay, he's going to come. They put out a promo. What will Howard say? You build all this up. Tuesday, September 2nd. That was almost, when that came out, was almost, 3-4 weeks? No, 4 weeks before he has to do that. you're losing all the momentum. We're in a time now where, a story that happened in the morning could be dead by the end of the evening because other things have happened and people have moved on. You built all this up. Had he said last week, the promo, Howard's going to talk, we'll be back this Tuesday, he's going to come back a special day during his thing, I would have gotten that. I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. They actually did it the right way. Well, he's not coming back from his summer vacation. You can wait another 4 weeks before he comes back. I don't doubt that you're going to get a lot of people listening, or like other people do. Like clickbait. They said, well, this celebrity was caught at the restaurant with whatever. People just go to the comments for the one guy that says, they're talking about this. I saved you the click. Yeah, exactly. Right. This is going to be that thing on that Tuesday. Some people will be there I don't know if anyone's going to subscribe just to listen to that announcement.
Right.
But they'll put it out on social media. People will be like, hey, I'll go online to see what he said, the recap of it. I think they lose all the momentum by waiting 4 weeks, especially after a major holiday to end the summer. No one's really going to care about it come that Tuesday. What do you think? Or maybe I'm wrong.
So, no, I think that if we operate under the theory that this was planted by Howard's folks or SiriusXM or whoever, they're not dumb, right? So if this is all planted, if this is all fake, a ruse, whatever, it's like a professional wrestling storyline, right? Something else is going to happen between now and September 2nd. Because you're right. If you just say, hey, if you just run promos for 3 weeks, it's like, oh, by the way, Howard's going to talk about this on September 2nd. Like, okay, that's a long time. You're absolutely 100% right that's a long time to try to keep the momentum going, keep the storyline, blah, blah, blah. But if it's all planted, if it's all fake, then you got to do something between now and then. There's got to be another story, right? And so, for instance, there was a report earlier this week that Howard has signed a deal already. It was inked 2 weeks ago that this is all fake, etc. But that didn't get a ton of traction. So I wonder if it is, to keep the ball rolling and keep Howard on top of the news cycle, what is next? But you're right in that if this is just a, hey, we'll pitch him towards September 2nd. Right, you're gonna lose that momentum.
What's the long term thing here though? Like September 2nd comes, he says he's extending his deal, or he says this is it, I'm gonna ride this out and we're done. How does that translate to the future? Like, I mean, we're all building up to September 2nd, but what happens after that? Like, does he keep his numbers? Do people care anymore? Does he see a drop off? Does he see an increase? Like, I don't see what the long.
He'll see an increase if he says he's not re-signing or whatever. Mm-hmm. If it's other than I've signed a contract and he's riding out the next few months, this will be like when Letterman was leaving. All the ramp ups too. You'll get all these big celebrities coming in, all these memories, all these old, maybe even older people that used to be guests on the show that haven't been guests in forever might come back. Like it'll be a big nostalgia train all the way to the end. But Garrett, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if there's just several ways to play it, but if he does come out on September 2nd and say, hey, you know what, we didn't come to an agreement. This is it. My contract's up at the end of the year. I don't know if you guys remember when, similar vein, when Conan O'Brien was about to wrap up the Tonight Show and his run leading it, they had, this kind of endless budget. And so he would do things like, we're going to play the entire unedited version of, Gimme Shelter or whatever, the Rolling Stone that was like, it cost $800,000.
Yeah, he played a lesser known Beatles song that
like they shot caviar out of a cannon at the Kentucky Derby winner because they had the budget. And so I think Howard Stern not having to worry about pissing off his bosses for the last 3 months of his tenure at SiriusXM could be an interesting and insanely compelling radio, because who knows where that goes.
Right.
There are a couple of different options there depending on what is true and what has happened and what is going to be talked about on September 2nd. But I think the main point kind of still stands of like, this is pretty good work by Howard and SiriusXM, no matter where this goes, but there does have to be some payoff on September 2nd, whether it is, I have agreed to an extension, this is the future, or I haven't, all the rumors are true, I'm done. There does have to be a payoff, because if you've misled your audience and the entire public and just don't mention it on September 2nd, that's where the real big pushback comes from.
I think he'll be on. He'll talk about something in some shape or form. He might do the old thing where he doesn't. I'm trying to. I haven't listened to him live in a long time. I don't remember if he's still on it. I think he's on at 7 now.
I think so.
Whatever. So that 7:20 was the sweet spot for radio for morning drive when people were in their cars going to work. So you knew you had them from 7:20 to 9 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. So he might not start off the show with that. He may wait a little bit and then get into whatever. If it's that he's already resigned and everything, I think it falls flat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone's like, this is whatever. They're taking a page from wrestling with this. But unlike wrestling doesn't stop. It's constantly a living, breathing entity where, hey, they tease this thing or this thing's happening for WrestleMania. It's January. WrestleMania is not till April. They have 2-3 shows a week and other pay-per-views to keep that storyline, to keep that storyline in front of you so that you're building up the anticipation to get there. Promo's running. Howard will be, and we'll play the promo, a little bit later. But it's like coming back September 2nd. That's not enough. If he came back once a week and was teasing that, I'll make the announcement then, and came back and did more shows, that builds to that. But he's not going to do that. So no. Now it's like, was all this for naught?
No. You're right. In the professional wrestling aspect is that there's always a payoff, right? Even if the payoff is, oh my gosh, I never expected that, or I never saw that coming. If he comes out on September 2nd and says, oh yeah, I signed a contract extension a couple of weeks ago. This was all just a ploy to get you to pay attention to me. Well, then the audience is going to be pissed off because you intentionally, purposely misled me for no reason other than to just be like, to stroke your own ego. The audience doesn't get anything out of that. So I wonder, I think it's a 100% fair question to say, where is this going and why is this happening the way that it's happening?
Before I give my thoughts on if he did resign and come back and the backlash he could get from this, I do want to talk about the fact that if he doesn't resign, people were also saying, it's like, well, if he doesn't resign, he'll go do all these other things. Possible. But, his demographic is skewed very old now. Mm-hmm. I think we're somewhere around the same age. But, from our level and up, know of Howard, know the older days of Howard, know the different golden ages of Howard, from Billy West to Jackie to Artie, all those things. A lot of people now only know him because of clips online because of his celebrity interviews. They don't know much about him there. He's not getting a younger audience.
He was a judge on America's Got Talent.
I was going to say America's Got Talent.
The idea that that's how a subsection of people know him is
right.
Wild to people that are 40 and older.
Sirius had a thing, one of those public meetings that you could dial into. I don't know if it was like an SEC thing or financial updates, whenever those.
Call.
Yeah. And they had said at the beginning of the year that their projections were all scrapped, that it didn't look like a financially profitable year for them this year, and that they also had to admit they didn't have anyone under 35 that subscribed to Sirius. They had to scrap they had moved in the direction of promoting video and their app for the last 2 years. They did an about face on that and said they're only going to focus on their core subscribers, which are the people in the car. Now, I get it, but that's not enough to sustain anymore, because satellite in the car doesn't mean what it used to be. It was better than radio when it first came out. It's like, wait, I could listen to a football game or a baseball game or Howard or Fox News or something and drive. I'm a trucker. I can go from the East Coast to the West Coast, never lose the signal, hear everything, where you can't do that with terrestrial radio. Now, your phone patches right into your dashboard, or you've got the apps in your dashboard. You've got your podcast, Spotify, streaming, any news outlet, any radio station around the country, around the world. You have all that. The satellite portion in the car doesn't mean as much as the content does, which is, I think, why they've been reinvesting $100 million contracts in all these podcasts. Especially with those two, I think from the clips I've been hearing over the past year, he's had a problem with Andy Cohen because the company really values everything he's been doing. And he's not happy with the Alex Cooper deal. which I don't think he fully knows a lot about her world and her podcast and all that stuff, but it's a big deal. And it seems like for a while, they were positioning her to be the new face of the company if they didn't continue on with him. And I think that's been getting at him this year. This year too.
That's where I think the issue probably with Alex Cooper stems, is that he's smart enough to know that they're building her up, that if they don't want to pay me the money that I think I'm worth or whatever, they're willing to say, hey, you know what? Sorry, but we've got Alex Cooper, we've got Andy Cohen, we've got partnerships with high profile music artists like Carrie Underwood and John Mayer and Kelly Clarkson and all of these people and so if you are one of the things that I've learned most in my career working in radio is that oftentimes the most talented people are the most insecure people. And I can't pretend that I know Howard Stern or anything like that, but the history shows me that the most talented people are often the most insecure people.
He is very insecure.
You start seeing the company put more efforts into other people, it's real easy to go, well, why don't they love me anymore? Why don't they think I'm pretty? And that becomes a problem.
I worked forever for a show that was in-house almost our entire career with him, same companies, but we were considered his competition everywhere. The show Opie and Anthony. They had us on, except for New York, every station he was on, we were the afternoon show. Made sense. That station did great, made tons of money by having both of us on there, except in New York. He would not have us on the same station, near us, whatever. When O&A got fired, laid off, whatever you want to call it, the first time for the Sex in St. Pat's Cathedral stunt, Howard was on Sean Hannity, and Hannity was talking to him. It's like about, you're this free speech guy, but you're all about censorship and whatever. And he said, yeah, censorship about anybody that competes or is against me. Right. And that was the first time he admitted that, O&A talked about it on the air all the time, that Howard is banning us from this. We can't say his name on the air anymore. We can't even reference him. We can't. Did your light just go out? Oh, there you go.
Yep. Nope.
And he admitted, it's like, yeah, he had the show censored so that we couldn't talk about him. We couldn't do all this stuff anymore because he's like, why would I want people talking about me? It's like, whoa, that is very insecure. You're supposed to be the guy that went after everybody, had funerals and all these markets that you beat all their top talent. But when it's in-house and someone's right next door to you, then all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to call the police and SWAT them, so just so they can leave me alone. So you're probably right.
There's that kind of legendary feud with Don Imus, right? Where it's, I don't like that you are talented and do the same thing that I do. I think that it's like, while it hasn't been the most well-placed sources or come out from the right places or whatever the case may be, I could fully buy that Howard Stern doesn't like Alex Cooper, that he doesn't like some of the people at SiriusXM have started to put some effort behind.
Yeah, I know he complained about the fact that her deal was $120 million, but the clip I heard of him talking about, the way he thought about it, it was like she was getting paid $120 million. They paid her company $120 million for her. She has to be at every event that they want her to. They use her likeness for all promotions and publications. They got the licensing rights to her entire podcast and her network brand. Their social media, all those things. They spent all this money on her so they could put the ad sales. They get the exclusive airing of the podcast. I don't know if it's like a day before or a week before on the satellite channels before it goes out to the public. All those things. That's what they're paying for. That's where the younger audiences are, or just the audiences of today are. They're not necessarily on satellite. They're not necessarily on radio anymore. So they're buying all these things. The company, our show's on iHeart, does the same thing with celebrities and all that stuff. They're buying into names and influencers that they think are going to make them money somewhere down the line. Maybe he does see the writing on the wall, because this year feels different than every other contract year that he's had, where he'd start the whole thing where I don't know if I want to sign. It was always, I don't know if I want to continue. I'm tired. I'm old. I don't feel like I want to do this anymore. This year was, they signed this person. The company doesn't care about me. Like, he reversed it. And then this thing came out here, and you're like, you're right. He must be really insecure about all of this. If he does have this contract done and all this build up and this, attempt at goodwill and sympathy from the audience, and it's just like, oh yeah, I signed over the summer, we're going to continue on for you, isn't it great? The first call you're going to hear is Marianne from Brooklyn or one of their people in the back, some of the regulars. You're not going to get random listeners on there saying, what the fuck, Howard, you sat here for 4 weeks and this, you'll never get those calls. It'll all be plants about how great everything is, and then moves on to the commercial break and then a celebrity thing or whatever. All right.
No, I think that's the danger kind of playing this game, is that if it is just at all to get people to listen on September 2nd to say, oh yeah, I'm back, people are going to be pissed.
Oh yeah.
They're going to feel like they have been horribly lied to, and that's not going to go over well. So I'm really interested to see how that all ends up shaking out.
And it's interesting too. He's doing all this just when Sirius made another big money move. I think Sirius finally learned not to release the amount of the deal, because of all the shit they were getting for when they spent $100 million on Shameless, $120 on Alex. About 3 years ago, they spent $150 on Conan O'Brien's thing. I'm not saying that they weren't good investments, but the price tags are like, really, for all this shit?
Right. That's a lot of money. And I think part of that is why people felt that it was probably true that Howard wasn't going to come to an agreement with Sirius, that they're dishing out hundreds of millions of dollars. He's old. He didn't have the whole, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, et cetera, buildup. That's why I think there's some credence to the idea that maybe this is true. Maybe this is the time that he finally just rides off into the sunset, at least at Sirius.
Sirius just made another big money move. Again, they didn't release the amount, but they just signed this big true crime murder podcast, which is one of the most profitable genres out there for streaming, for Netflix, for podcasts, all these things, called Morbid. And it's I didn't know anything about it, but I was reading up on it, like how extremely popular,
insanely popular
that podcast is. So Sirius spent a ton of money because they were already with another company, and they spent money to buy them out of that other company and then bring them over here. So you're paying penalty money on top of money you're buying for the property. This must be important. So if they're making all of these moves, Howard, he might be nervous, and he's like, I might be at the point where I can't come back from this whole thing here. The other point of it is that where does he go from here? Because it's not like he wouldn't get like a David Letterman deal where Dave was doing interviews and stuff, and they were well received. People liked it and what have you. But Dave didn't leave after all those years of hosting late night television to go somewhere else and host late night television again for another platform. He went and did passion projects. I don't know if that is in the cards for Howard, but he doesn't seem like the type that could handle the fact that I'm not on the radio anymore. What do I do after this point? So he might get lowballed by the company to stay. He might not. I don't know, but it doesn't seem probable that he'll go anywhere else.
Yeah, I on top of writing hey, Sirius is doing a great job here, I wrote hey, here are the potential 5 landing spots for Howard Stern if he's to leave Sirius XM. And one of them I put down was Peacock. He has a experience with NBC from America's Got Talent. Peacock needs non-sports programming because all they have kind of is movies and the NBA
and wrestling. Well, what's left of their WWE agreement?
Wrestling going away. Yeah. And so if Howard were to do a weekly sit down interview with do a celebrity interview that you can turn into a podcast form as well as a streaming show, whatever the case may be, there are all sorts of options. You're right. He's not going to sit down and do a 2-hour radio show.
I don't think he can. Like if he stops doing I don't think he can. He seems like one of those guys that will die in the chair.
Nobody's thinking about me anymore. My life sucks. He's got to do something. And when you say, there's a chance Sirius lowballs him, dude's got a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
The idea that you got I got lowballed. All they did was offer me $20 million for 3 years instead of $100 million per year or whatever. Yeah, you're still doing all right, man.
You just got me thinking about the Peacock deal. Like if he did leave and then showed up, somewhere down the line doing specials or stuff for Peacock, if he's still tied into them, we got another Olympics coming up in a few years. Could you imagine Howard as an NBC correspondent or something like when we saw Snoop Dogg at
Snoop and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, at the Olympics in France. We found out Snoop was making $500,000 a day to be there. And why is Snoop Dogg I'm not complaining, but I'm just curious. Why is he at the Olympics? Imagine Howard doing, because it's in LA. So Howard's going to be, out there as a street reporter.
Right.
talking to the celebrities that are, oh my God, that's horrible and fantastic at the same time now that I'm thinking about it.
And I just think that he's got enough name cachet that somebody, whether it's a digital video, whether it's, Netflix, Peacock, Spotify, that somebody's going to throw enough money at him to make him go, yeah, no,
Right.
I'll do that. And it's, if he's already basically doing a twice weekly podcast, frankly, when he is working. So it's not that out of the realm of possibility for whether it's a TV company, whether it's YouTube pays him, whether it's Elon Musk throws a bag at him, somebody's going to say,
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I'll pay you a bunch of money to do a couple of shows a week, and he'll be okay. Yeah.
Do you think Howard?
Just like all these shows just filter around. Like when Sirius is getting, like you said, the Morbid podcast, that's coming from Wondery. He's going to go from Sirius. He's just going to switch over to either Wondery or whatever because Amazon's got all this cash. They're throwing stuff in.
Yeah.
Well, Wondery got dissolved, didn't it?
No.
They just dissolved it into it's all Audible now.
Yeah, they laid off everybody basically that works there. The creator, the celebrity.
They took the name and the assets.
Yeah, it's going to still be Wondery, right. And then the actual good podcasts are going to go to Audible.
Right.
But yeah, they did a number on Wondery.
Last thing, and then I'll let you go. Thank you for your time, by the way, for coming in. I know you had other you were doing sports play-by-play and stuff before coming here, so I appreciate you making the time. The other thing I found interesting was that everyone is still fixated on this $100 million price tag for Howard per year. And most people don't realize that was just the first deal, because before he went and officially was over at Sirius, the $100 million deal, people thought that was, for him to pay for him, his staff, the channels, all of those things there. Then later on, it said, it was negotiated that there was $100 million for him, which I think he pays the top tier, like Gary and Robin and Fred out of that. And then the channels, the staff and everything else was a separate budget that Sirius pays. So he did have that $100 million for that first 5-year contract. You can go and look it up. There's some periodicals out there around the time, what was it, 2010 or 11 when he was renegotiating again? They said the thing dropped down. They were estimating 80 million. Like they had already cut it by 20. And that was the second satellite contract. We're probably on his fourth contract with satellite that's almost up?
Probably.
Somewhere on there. And a lot of the hearsay, scuttlebutt, if you want to say that, is that people are still married to that number, but his show hasn't been paid that amount in a long time. Like that was the initial contract the first 5 years. It hasn't been that number since.
But it sure sounds fun to make it. Well, he's not going to say, I don't make that much money, because it sounds badass that you're like, hey, this company's paying me $100 million a year. That's how important I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, and also I think the sheer amount of money that SiriusXM brings in, now not necessarily there's always profit, but brings in is staggering. It is a boatload of cash. I think in the second quarter they had like $4 billion in revenue.
Yeah, so, and how are they still down? Like that's the whole thing.
It is mind-boggling, isn't it? That you're like, in 3 months you made $4 billion, and you're like, did you make a profit?
No.
You're like, cool.
Like the thing with like, even if Howard left, right, they're not in the mindset of radio anymore. They're in the mindset of entertainment and streaming and podcasts and those kind of things. If Howard, and we're going to play clips later on in the show of people that think that they would be a good replacement, that they're talking with Sirius, that if Howard doesn't re-sign, they might, be a candidate to fill, to replace him. If Howard left, they are not hiring radio anymore. That's not happening. Even successful radio shows, no one is replacing Howard at this point as a radio show. They may replace him as the face of the company, the figurehead of the company, Alex Cooper, or if somebody else comes along in the next several months that we're not aware of. That's what's going to replace him, or just remold the company in that new person's image. Radio is not going to be replacing Howard at all. If they bring other shows in, they'll be put on channels that it's there, but they'll forget about them and they won't promote them. But radio is not what it used to be anymore. So when people, it's like, well, who will replace Howard? Nobody. They'll just they'll close up that that corner of the floor that he was on. They'll rip down the walls. They'll make the studios accessible to other celebrity stuff, and then it just goes on business as usual.
No, you're 100% right. They're not going to hire somebody to replace him. They're not going to rely on replacing him. They will look at that and say, we now have X amount of money in our budget to potentially pay. We could, if it's $80 million that they're paying Howard a year now.
Right.
Okay, well, we can pay 8 different A-list celebrities, actors, comedians, whatever the case may be, to do a podcast, to do a twice weekly show or whatever. We pay 8 of them $10 million a year. And you know how many people make so much money that they're willing to say, I don't need $10 million a year to do a once a week show.
Yeah.
Those people just don't really exist. And so you're right that the idea that somebody can step in and fill those shoes or whatever. Yeah, it's not
happening.
Yeah.
Garret, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you coming in. Garrett's article is up on Barret Media. I mean, it's so weird. That article only came out a few days ago, and it's already, some of the information's kind of outdated. Not by your doing, just by how fast everything moves. It's like, well, it was true at the time.
Yeah.
Now it's different. But he has all these other works and stuff up there. So go support him. He's up on BarretMedia.com. He's got his information right down there if you want to give Garret a follow. Garret, thank you for coming on. If you're big into radio and stuff, when other stories come up down the line, we'd love to have you back to talk about this stuff.
No, absolutely. Whenever works for you guys, let me know. I'm more than happy to hop on.
I appreciate it. Anything else you want us to promote?
Just Cracker Barrel, Big Red Soda. Bob Evans can't hold a candle to Cracker Barrel. So
guys, search him out. He might have an Amazon wish list. Send him a big case of Big Red Soda to say thank you.
If I can get some Big Red out of this, that'd be fantastic.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Garret. Take care, man.
And the soda.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, man. Bye. All right, that was good. That was good. Because I remember when that article came out, and I like, he seemed reasonable, but he had some wording in his article there too, and I was like, why does everybody think it's brave that Howard's leaning into the rumors when Howard created the rumors? It's not like, he's getting out in front of it, of the thing he created. What? Whatever. It's a weird time.
Well, and for me, I really do think that if it's anything short of him saying, I'm done and we're going to ride this out, I think everyone's right. It's going to fall flat because, okay, great. You built this up to tell me you're going to do the same thing for the next 3 years. The same thing that I haven't been listening to live.
Right.
There's nothing for me. Now, like, you're right. If it says, hey, we're done and these next few months are going to be wild, I would probably listen. You know, I'd want to see what they're going to do, whether or not they get, old co-hosts back or old stars, or they get old interviews going again or something like that. Would be how you do that.
I don't have a satellite subscription. I have not had it since the day I left. I was like, I'm never, just out of personal vendetta, that I was not going to subscribe to that. I will not
pay for that
company again, but I have people who have access to it. So if I need something,
sure,
more times than not, then they give us help. Like, they'll get us clips and things. I have a clip.
Sirius is desperate. Sirius constantly sends me emails. Here's 3 free months.
Yeah.
Please take your 3 months in your car, or here's the web subscription. You can stream it on your computer. They are never short of just begging people to get their free months and hoping that they'll stay on and pay the monthly.
Right.
Which I never do. I always cancel after that. And then I do it again in 2 or 3 months.
I don't even bother with that. It's like, if I get into my car, it has the AM, the FM, and then it has the, the satellite button. And if you hit it there and it says, apparently this I didn't know until, I think my mechanic was working on my car, and I came back and satellite was on in my car, and I went, I'm not paying for this. I hope he didn't activate something that I'm paying for this. They have a few channels, like a handful of channels that they stream for free, but like music channels. But after every song is a promo, a commercial to subscribe for all that. If you like what you're hearing, it's like, you played one song. How do I know that if I like what you're hearing? You played a second song and then ran the same promo again. I don't care. But yeah, I never use the thing because there's just no need to do that.
It was like, Eric, motor oil is the lifeblood of a car.
It is. It's fantastic. I put my straw into the can. I blow bubbles like chocolate milk. It's really good. We've ignored the chat. We got to talk to the chat a little bit before we get into some of the other.
You guys are still here?
I know. I forgot they were still here. Oh, Restless Garrett was a good guest. He was. I was a little worried he wouldn't show up because I wrote him. I said, look, I don't want to attack you. This isn't going to be like a gotcha moment, but I didn't agree with some of the stuff in his piece there. Would you like to come on and talk about it? And he was cool with it. And he was very good. He was very good and honest about, at least it appeared that he was honest about some of the things that, some of the issues I had with his piece. But it wasn't just him. It was a lot of the media saying these things. And you go, well, why are you playing into it this way? But
well, it's funny because like it's kind of half and half. Like some people are saying, yeah, it's great. He's leaning into it. They're gonna make this big thing. They're really trying. And then you get the other half going, yeah, this is a stunt by him. This is a desperate ploy from a man who's not getting the ratings. Like it's really split down the middle. And like again, anything short of announcing his retirement or he's ending the show with Sirius, I don't know what happens with that.
Right. Big Red Tower saying thanks, Garrett. I'm trying to load some here. Could you bring up the chat so we can say hi to everybody?
All right. Hello, chat. We've got, let's see, let's go up a little bit here. We got I Enjoy Radio. Of course you do, Lewis, because it's a dying medium. But we try our best.
Get it while you can before they run out.
Yeah, podcast media saying everyone streams in the car now too. I mean, that's I think what Sirius was trying to lean into is trying to get the car subscriptions back up.
Right.
Like that was their main focus, and it's just it's kind of ridiculous that that's the way they want to go. I don't think they're proactive about how they do the business, so they don't know. They try to go with the next big thing, and I just don't know what they do from here. So
I don't know.
Satellite is dead. Old Restless. I don't know. Not fully.
I don't know. Like I think the technical satellite part of that company is in dire straits. I don't think it's there's much left for it in this world.
Right.
The direction that they're going, because that company and the guy who he's not the CEO but the president of the company has been such a hard on for celebrities the entire time I've known the guy and worked there and what have you. We're in his golden age right now where everybody's buying celebrity influencers and famous influencers, all of that stuff. That's what they're doing. And that might be the thing to help this company down the line, because it certainly isn't radio and radio personalities. You need people that transcend the stuff. Oh, another person I forgot to bring up, but they also didn't mention the price of the deal. Stephen A. Smith. They bought him out of ESPN radio. Like his show is ending or has ended nationally
he's still doing stuff with ESPN, but yeah,
the television stuff he's still doing that. The radio show that he had for ESPN that was syndicated ended or is ending. It's starting over at satellite. Like he's going to be a whole department of stuff from there. Like he'll be tied in with their NFL stuff, other sports, kind of like Chris Mad Dog Russo, who's over there, who has his own sports channel, but also is tied in with Major League Baseball and I think tennis, because he's a tennis freak too. So bringing him over there, another big name that transcends radio and television, a lot of things. He's a personality. I've seen him on things where I can't stand some of the things he's saying. I've seen him on other things where I'm like, I actually agree with his opinion on things. He's a very polarizing person. Because sometimes you look at him and like, I don't like him, and other times like, yeah, I agree with him. I think he's right on this thing. So, I think that's unfortunately where it's going. Guys getting a chance to develop on radio isn't going to matter anymore. I read a thing. I should have bookmarked this one too. I don't know why I didn't. But I read a thing about the decline of internships around the country. And it didn't matter just for for entertainment. But like for
I think we've actually talked about this before.
About the decline of internships, how they don't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't.
In a lot of companies, a lot of in the corporate world, no matter what the aspect is, it could be financial, could be legal, could be anything. Internships seem to not be the doorway into getting something anymore, where you'd get an internship to show what you could do, learn on the job, and then maybe get a low entry job in the mailroom, a production assistant, an assistant to somebody, something low level that you could learn all the other departments and work your way up because now you're in the building. That doesn't matter anymore. A lot of the internships that come in there, there's such a regimen on your time. Like, you're only allowed to be here for 4 hours today. You need to leave. Free labor, they're looking to learn. They want to be with your company in the future. And all these are the people the right way of grooming, the good way of grooming people to work at your company, and you're throwing them out. You're saying, well, you got to get out of here. You can't be here. You can't hang around extra hours. You can't do all these other things. It's like, then what's the point of anyone trying anymore? You can't even intern in most places to get a foot up in the work. You got to just sit there and hopefully that the AI software, which is getting sued, by the way, the company that came up with the AI software for the HR departments, is getting a federal investigation on them, that this software in the last couple years might be illegally discriminating against people without anybody knowing about it, that it scores your resumes, that it figures out based on your information, oh, you might be a certain gender, you might be a certain race, might be a certain religion, you might be a certain age. Well, we don't want this. You can't set parameters on, like, if any of these things show up on a resume, ignore the resume. That's illegal. And somebody filed a lawsuit back in May, and now it's gone all the way up that there's, a federal investigation on this software. And now I think I saw one of the courts saying that the company that owns this software, I forgot it's HR, something with a D.
Puff and stuff.
Yeah, HR Puff and stuff.
Attorney at law.
Yeah. Can't do a little because he can't do enough. Or I think that's how it goes. I'm not that old. The company now got forced to hand over their list of clientele, all these corporations that bought into it. There was even a piece that the owner of the software was claiming they didn't own the software. Now, when that happens, a notice was sent to them, and it's like, we don't own this software. And they say, oh, yes, you do. It's from this division under your company. And they're like, oh, we weren't aware of that. They knew damn well what they were doing. This thing is going to blow up. It's going to take a while because, legal stuff takes forever, but it's in motion. Go ahead and look at it. The HR software. I forgot the damn name.
Workday?
What?
Is it Workday?
That's the company.
Okay.
The software, it's HR is something I think it's something with a D. Look up their AI HR software. But yeah, it's the Workday lawsuit. That thing's, keep an eye on that. That thing's going to get big going down the line. All right, we got to get back to radio and other stuff that we have.
Speaking of radio, we got Casey in the chat saying, I've been stuck listening to the radio all week in the truck, and it's been miserable.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We have older episodes you could go and listen to that you probably haven't heard before.
I have a whole catalog of a show that I used to be on. I'll just stick them on a thumb drive. Bartholomew saying, I'm stuck with radio either way. I have radio, a tape deck, a CD changer in my car, and I've long since gotten rid of my physical media.
Never get rid of your physical media.
Oh, always keep physical media. Speaking of physical media, we got a Big Red Tower. I like being out of the societal loop, so my car is a flash drive packed full of MP3s. That's a way to do it. I used to have that 100 disc changer in the back of my trunk, or you had the
if you hit a pothole on the highway, it fucked up your whole listening experience.
Everything's all messed up.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that. Or if you threw there was a guy across the street from me where I used to live on Long Island, and he had this car. It was I forgot the car, but it was only a 2-door, but it had a hatchback that would have just kind of like a fake kind of covering over there. So if you look down in the window, you would just see what looked like the interior of the car. It was like some beige color thing.
It's just almost like a tonneau cover. It's just like you pull it across.
Well, it was with the thing. It's I guess it was like plastic, but then had the carpeting over it or whatever, right? He gutted this whole thing. He spent so much money on this car where he put in the back, the whole hatchback of the car was a custom-made rack for subwoofers, speakers, a CD changer, and all this other shit in there.
There's a vinyl record back there.
Right. You remember the car changer thing, right? They were either like a tower like this, or they looked like a DVR player in the back there, right, with the multi-disc changer. He spent all this money on that there. Within a couple days, somebody stole his car and gutted the whole thing, took all of that shit out there, right? the dummy goes and redoes the car, but he doesn't do the full back of the hatchback with the custom fitting for the speakers and all of that stuff, right? He's got subwoofers, but they're on the, the like if you're in the back seat, that kind of resting board behind you, they're like in there and what have you. He has the multi-change rack system in the back. He goes golfing with either his dad or his brother. They threw the clubs into the back of the truck, back of his car, right? I see him out there one day, and he's got the car, and we were in a pretty good neighborhood, and he's got his car jacked up, and he's laying on the ground on the street in front of his car. Like, it looks terrible, right? So I walk over to him, like, what are you doing? What happened? Oh, I got to fix all that. So he's explaining to me. So they threw the golf clubs in, and because they were moving around, one of the golf things, you have where the heads of the clubs stick out, usually put a thing that zips up on the top of the golf bag so it's all contained.
Right.
They didn't do that. So the clubs, like he had a big Bertha club in there that's moving around and everything. Not only did it destroy the multi-rack in the back of his car, it was ripping out wiring for the speakers and the rear view lights. So he got pulled over at one point because it didn't look like he stopped going through something. And he got pulled over. He got a warning for it, but it found out that all his taillights were out because this thing, the golf clubs, ripped out all the wiring. Now I'm thinking this should all be, if you have all this wiring, this should be all encased. Like it should be behind.
You should have had it behind the carpeting and tucked in.
He didn't. It was still gutted from the original rack unit that was in there. It was just open air. So they threw golf clubs in there and it was ripping out wires and it destroyed the fucking CD player. I go, this is the second time he's redone this car and fucked it up, and he spent way more money for this car than it was worth.
This guy's probably in his 20s at the time, right?
How old were we? Late teens. We were like 19. Yeah, probably around 19, 20, because I left Long Island 20, 21. I was 20, 21, somewhere in there. So it was before that.
I was going to say, yeah, anyone older than 25 putting subwoofers in your car is a moron.
Yeah, so dumb.
So grow up.
We got to get back into the radio stuff. I want to cleanse the palate a little bit before we get back there. I want to do something fun with you.
Ooh. On air?
Yeah. So remember how we talked about the internet trend of people using that Jet 2 audio?
I sent you a video of my daughter doing that for you.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that, but yes, that's what it was. And you were telling me that your kid says this all the time. And I go, why is this a thing? This is a commercial. I understand a hook from a song, a lyric, or something like that.
Oh, that's all they do.
Or a dance trend, something. This was a travel commercial. Why is this clip being used all over the place?
And it's a British one. So like the kids are doing the accent. They're talking about saving like 50 pounds per person. I'm like, what the fuck is a pound?
Right.
We live in America, damn it.
So I didn't know what this was. You told me it was, I heard it was a travel thing. You told me what it is. Now I want to show you, I found a bunch of different things. I want to update you with this. I found the original clip because I went to look. I go, what was it from? There must have been something in the commercial that sparked this whole thing, and there's not. Here's the original commercial for this.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
And that's usually where it cuts off. Like that's the sample that they use on TikTok and all these other dumb videos.
We've got millions of free child place holidays available, with 22 kilograms of baggage included.
I want to take that portion and put like a AI version of like Epstein's Island and just have that overlay on there.
It's kid friendly.
Right.
Just use the audio, just use the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
Two holidays. Package holidays you can trust.
So Jet2 is a British travel company. The thing that they use online was with Blue is because they had deals of partnerships with JetBlue. Right? So that was the original thing that came up. While looking for the original thing, the lady who did the voice showed up on the Today Show. Check this out.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. going viral for something just that is really funny and joyful is just like that's quite a wonderful experience. The one that's out there, the big famous one, I recorded probably about 18 months ago. It was like coming out in January when people are starting to think, oh, I'm going to book my holiday this year. And there was a new campaign. It was the Nothing Beats a Jet2 holiday line. And I remember we workshopped the line, that's £200 for a family of 4, quite a lot, because we're like, how do we sort of like present that line in a way that's not going to annoy people? Because it's like, well, of course it's £200 for a family of 4. It sort of went quite massive in the UK, and it's been like rolling over for like quite a while, people sending these kinds of memes. But like the American thing, I have just found so mind-blowing. Because
yeah, so this is what was interesting. It's only Americans that were doing this. Usually when you see these kind of trends, it's a worldwide thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of the dance stuff comes from Asia or somewhere in Europe before it even gets here. This was something dumb Americans came up with. And nobody else, it became, like she's saying here, she was like, I was so surprised, the American thing. They weren't doing this in England. They weren't doing it anywhere else. It was just this dumb country.
We have so little here anymore. We got to find something to do.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to go around and just walk around with a towel going like this. And then it's just going to hear, you're not fully clean unless you're zest fully clean. That's all I'm going to do.
We're going to bring back the old slogans.
Yes. We're going to kiss a little longer with Big Red.
It's that Big Red freshness.
Yeah, but then I'll hold up the soda bottle instead of the gum, and then everyone's going to be confused. Like this, none of this makes any sense.
They're mixing brands.
they don't even know what Jet2 holidays is. They don't have holidays, they have vacations. Holidays is like Christmas, right? but they just like
Americans
got so on board with the joyful silliness of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, great for her. This is great exposure for that lady. She can have that on her resume. I'm the Jet2 holiday lady. She'll get booked all over the place.
I'm the one that annoyed everybody for at least a summer.
Right.
On American TikTok.
So just to show you that not only how big this thing has gotten, it's fully jumped the shark. We'll bring that phrase back here. Let's take a look at this.
Nothing beats a Jeff 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
He's just like, okay. All right, this is what I'm doing.
I need them to do another season of his Jeff Goldblum show on Disney Plus. Like, my kids were obsessed.
It was a great show. That episode where he was discovering denim,
or he was getting tattoos,
or ice cream.
He's
like, ice cream is. He's like, and he's just staring at the cone. It's like, this is an amazing creation. It's like, he really believes all of this shit.
I think he's just that enthralled by just the most mundane things.
Yeah.
I love it.
Jared the Geek saying, people put it on everything, it's tired. Yeah, I would like to start seeing that. You know how people are doing the Michael Bay things for accidents and things.
I love those. You send those to me a lot lately.
They're funny. I mean, every now and then you see one that shows up that you just go, this is funny. You're allowed to keep doing this for a little while. Replace those with the Jet2 holiday where somebody fell down the stairs or fell off like a railing down a waterfall, those kind of things. That's the new gimmick for the Jet2 holiday. Do all of that. Now, that's the big thing. That's where we know it jumped the shark, because it's a Jeff2 holiday with Jeff Goldblum. But I'm going to end up with the fact that our favorite cosplayer also got in on the mix. And this might be the best thing that ever came out of the Jet2 holiday. Let's take a look.
Nothing beats a Jet.
Oh, it's a Jeff 2 holiday.
Why is Jeff still showing? I don't know why.
It does that a lot.
I don't understand why it does this. All right, let's try this again. Here we go.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. £200 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Oh my God.
We've got millions of free holidays.
This is why
it's hard to tell. Like, is it staged and like someone's knocking stuff over into her?
It doesn't matter.
Just unlucky, and I think it's great.
It doesn't matter. This is why I love her account, because tall, skinny, blonde girl doing cosplay. What's not to like? But she goes the extra mile where things are just constantly
trying to kill her.
Right.
That fan should have killed her.
So she does a live stream on Twitch, and at one time she was, I think she's in Germany, and it was on in the middle of the night while I'm editing stuff. And I see the alert. I'm like, well, she's on now, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, it's morning over in Germany. I flip on the thing. She's talking. She's building. She was building an outfit for a creature from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Mm-hmm.
And she's explaining about some of these things, and somebody asked her about that mirror thing that she had. She goes, oh yeah, this is my MS Paint mirror that I made, and blah, blah, blah. And she's explaining some of these things. She goes, there's clips where you see this falls on me. She goes, yeah, all those clips are just outtakes from when I'm trying to do she does live streams about building her cosplays, like sewing, manufacturing, all that stuff.
That's good.
And then so the outtakes, she goes, all that stuff happens. She goes, a couple of things are put into position for things to happen. She goes, but all that stuff happens where I'm not paying attention. I hit the wrong thing and they fall me. And she goes, so I just started putting them out like a bloopers cut.
Smart.
And she goes, and those have been more popular than the actual videos she puts out with her costumes. So when I saw that, in fact, I want to watch it again. When I saw
I was
that,
going to say, play that again for me.
I saw that thing. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Where is it? There it is. Let's give it another watch right here.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. You can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of free
That one almost looks like someone took it and just threw it at her because it came out with such force.
It doesn't matter.
Like I don't know why the fan was creeping toward her. That's funny in itself, but that thing looked like someone literally just went whomp.
Yeah, but that mirror thing falling at the end.
Yeah,
is such an old comedy trope that they don't do anymore. That's something like out of Monty Python. That's something out of like the original era of The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. You know, it's that kind of just brutal out of nowhere. Somebody gets hurt for no reason. That it's funny.
That's pretty good. No, that's really funny.
Somebody's saying maybe her apartment is haunted. She lives with her parents.
It's her parents.
It's her parents' house.
Like, please get out of the house.
Apparently she makes a ton from the story she was telling. She has other siblings, like 4 other siblings that have all moved out. And she goes, and they all discovered and figured out their lives. So she just took over their rooms, and now they're like storage rooms, a sewing room, like all their old bedrooms are now her thing there. And apparently she makes a ton of money from this. So it's not like, when are you going to move out of your parents' house? I'm a millionaire. Why do I need to?
Why would I want to?
Yeah,
I'm paying for their house.
Exactly. She just took them to. She was talking about something about London. She took her parents to London. Oh, she did it. I forgot to pull this other video. She did a video where she does this video where it looks like she forgets her phone. Mm-hmm. So she's standing there and she's looking at. She has the phone set up and she's looking, and she's at what do they call the underground, the tube? The subway, right? Yeah. So she's there, and then she's doing like this, and she walks over. The door's open, the glass door's open, and then the door's open to the train. She walks in there, and she's doing this other thing, and then the door's closed, and she goes like that, like this is closed, like she forgot her phone is still there, and then the train takes off, and her phone's just sitting there. She did a few of these videos throughout London. Obviously, her parents or somebody's there with the phone. But she went on the subway, it closed, and left, and her phone is still sitting there recording as she's leaving. I'm like, that kind of shit I don't mind. That's kind of clever.
I gotta say, this one did make me giggle a bit.
She lives with her parents' ghosts. That makes a lot more sense.
That's why things are falling on her.
All right.
Died here.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Really
a little update with the Jet2 stuff there. I think we've officially turned the corner on all of that.
Like I said, it's wild. Like my kid was sitting in the seat next to me. We were heading over to the store, and she was just doing it. Like she was just sitting there in the seat next to me saying it.
Right.
So when we were walking into the store, I was like, I have to record you because me and Eric were just talking about this. This was unprompted. So I was like, I need you to do it again. And
so
that's why I sent that.
You're walking across the parking lot, and she just starts
Yeah, nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. I'm like, what the fuck? She does the accent. She's saying like the all this. It's hilarious. Like I don't understand it.
Okay.
So
cool.
You're dumb.
It's like whatever. I say dumb things and sing dumb songs all the time. I guess that's just how they do it now.
Right.
All right, moving on. We got to get back to the radio stuff here. I want to show you the Stern promo that we were just talking about. Mm-hmm. And here, there's something else that's interesting with this too. They put the promo out. They only made it for vertical video.
That is weird.
They didn't put out like, oh, here's the version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Instagram, those kind of things. But here's the HD version that if you put on YouTube would be the version that like the news would pick up or entertainment shows. They would play the HD version because it fits television. Mm-hmm. They only put out the vertical version, and that was it. I was looking all around, unless I'm slipping. I looked everywhere. I could not find an HD version of it. So I pulled the promo that they're running. They're running it on his channels nonstop, from what I'm told. And it's running on a handful of channels throughout Sirius as well that they're putting this on here. Again, 4 weeks too late that they're doing this.
The ramp up was too long.
Right. For him coming back September 2nd. Could you imagine being a listener to any of these radio channels that are playing it, and you hear that ad all the time, and you know that you still have 4 weeks, well, 3 weeks at this point, maybe 2. I don't know. I don't remember time anymore.
Who the fuck is Gabbo?
It's
Gabbo.
Gabbo's this guy named Gabbo. You're sitting there forever, and it's like, just get on with the announcement. By the time it comes around, you're annoyed. Especially if you're a Howard listener. I mean, I understand you'd be excited to hear what he has to say. But if you're listening to his channel and this is all that's playing all the time, it's like, I don't even care what the Howard's announcement is. Just turn this fucking ad off. I'd rather listen to the Jet 2 ad over and over than this promo. All right, here, let's take a look.
Downfall of Howard Stern.
The shock jock just got his walking papers from Sirius XM.
The guillotine's coming for Howard Stern.
Now, here's the problem. It's all AI or stock footage that they're doing on here. Got his walking papers. It's just some guy with the old copy paper box, like he's collecting his things and has to walk out.
Walking papers from Sirius XM.
The guillotine's coming for Howard Stern.
The tabloids have spoken. Howard Stern fired, canceled. Is it really bye Bowie?
Get it?
All right. Before we go on, this thing was probably sitting in the can waiting to be released, because the turnaround on this was way too fast for when that thing initially happened to this ad coming out. Bob Bowie. This is hack radio. This is the shit he would complain about. Like, oh, everybody online is in the media and even radio sites and stuff. They're all like, this is clever. This is a brilliant marketing plan. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, really? Really? What? This is this is regular radio level of a promo. This should be a bit edgier or a bit more sophisticated, if you will.
Yeah.
Like a Hollywood trailer, not this kind of schlock.
Is it really bye Bowie? Chaos is swirling at the Howard Stern Show.
A tornado effect over, like,
Did staffers talk to the press? Are writers withholding their best jokes? Nobody knows what's going on or who to trust. Now we can reveal all the questions will be answered. All the truths will be told by the one man truly on the inside.
All right, before this proves that it was all them.
Oh yeah.
This 100% shows the hand that, yeah, we developed all of this.
Howard Stern will speak. Tuesday, September 2nd.
There's the big letdown.
Yep.
This thing came out like over a week or so ago. Mm-hmm. And it's like this build-up. Howard Stern will speak. Alrighty, if he would have said next Tuesday, when this thing came out on a Thursday, I think, or a Friday, if they said next Tuesday, you'd be like, oh shit, okay.
Mm-hmm. He's coming back from vacation
4
early.
weeks from now. You're like, okay.
This Arbor Day comes.
Right.
Howard 100.
Yeah, it's.
I keep forgetting that they changed their Sirius logo with that stupid ass.
Yeah, the one they ripped off from the Mexican supermarket.
Yeah, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah, their new logo it's dumb. They shouldn't have done that with the S. But two, they took it from a regional Mexican supermarket chain.
Mm-hmm. I think we looked at it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We found proof that they took it from that company. And nobody is like, what are you going to do about it? I guess nothing. I guess that supermarket in another country has no leg to stand on for a multi-million-dollar media conglomerate. All right, moving on. Now, still with we're still with the Howard stuff here. I want to show you this. So I had mentioned about some shows thinking that they were going to be able to. It's like, well, we might be in the running to take over for Howard. No radio personality, no radio show is going to take over for Howard when he's done. It's just not going to happen. It'll be an empty void that they close up shop in his division, and they just focus on their podcasts and their celebrity podcasts and maybe even streaming at some point if they get around to that. They're not hiring radio shows.
Yeah, there's no successor to Howard at this point.
Right. Tom's saying, it'll only take a few years and the Howard 100 stinger will become a birthday announcement. I get what you're saying. He'll be long gone before that. And that's not a morbid thing to say. It's just,
he's 71.
Reality. These clips, this is two clips I put together. Bubba the Love Sponge. Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Radio personality, one of the shock jock radio shows from the genre that's no longer existing. But he was out of Tampa, Florida. He's made lots of headlines for different things, killing a boar live on radio that wound up getting Clear Channel at the time to cancel his show and pull his syndication and all of that stuff. Even though I guess legally it was clear that they had a licensed hunter, woodsman, that kind of thing, that you did it properly and humanely, but the fact that they did it live on the air was the problem. Gets another deal, comes back. He's the afternoon drive thing on Howard's 101 channel for many years. Then butted heads with the management there, and they wound up not re-signing him. So he had a terrestrial deal too, a smaller terrestrial deal going on at the time. So he had to lean into that. Then got in trouble for, the Hulk Hogan sex tape thing, for Hogan having sex with his wife. He got in a lot of legal trouble and almost cost stations their licenses because he was altering what they call the PPM meters. Do you know what those are?
Is that how they measure the ratings?
Yeah, PPM meters it looks almost like this. It's just almost like a USB drive that hooks on your keychain or wherever. It can detect. It's almost like the technology Shazam has, when it can tell the coding in a song to let you know what the song is. The PPM thing is it's almost like the ratings books, but it's a bit more accurate. If it's sent to somebody, they can hear any radio that's playing, and you get credit for listening to that. If you're in a store, say you work at a supermarket and you have it on your keys and they're playing some local radio station in there, it says that you listen to this radio station all the time. It's just what it does. He, just like ratings books, you're not supposed to know who gets them. If somebody calls up or lets you know and say, hey, I got a ratings book, you're supposed to I don't want to know anything about it. Don't talk to me about that. It's illegal. So he had about 2 or 3 PPM meters from listeners, and was altering them where they were taped to oscillating. Is it oscillating? Is that the term? Fans? Is that the term, right?
Or just turn.
Where they would move because it detects movement. If it just sits there, it times out after a while. But so they're moving on the fans with the radio, monitoring his station, his show. So he would get that. He had 3 of them that either he was doing it or had somebody, it was in cahoots with somebody who was doing it. Wound up getting an FCC investigation, fines. The station he was on had their ratings book stripped for a while, where none of their ratings could legally be used for market research or even sales information. He's had a history of really big problems. And he's been doing radio forever. But he's one of these guys who he adopted some technology. I don't think he did. I think somebody on his staff forced him into it. He's been streaming on Twitch. He does his morning show on the radio, but he's also on Twitch. And he still thinks in this mindset that, we're getting on more stations. And you'll hear in this clip here, he's talking about the signals of the station. Like, these are big, impressive deals. They don't mean anything anymore, but he's talking about bringing back an old staff member if he gets the deal to replace Howard. I want you to listen to this and hear how frustrating this is.
There's a couple really big situations that are headed our way. We just picked up Panama City, 50,000 watt FM.
All right, that used to mean something. A 50,000 watt FM. I'm glad he didn't say the stick, because they always talk about the antenna. The old radio guys, it's like, oh, it's got a 50,000 watt stick coming out of Jacksonville, and you're like, that just means it can broadcast it. That's the maximum amount by law that a station can broadcast, at least an FM one, right? That's as far as it can go, as powerful as it goes. So that used to be impressive. Like, oh, we're on these big stations, everything. That's great, but it doesn't mean anything anymore. Saying about the reach and the coverage doesn't mean anything anymore, because you can have these broadcasts on these big stations, but they're monitoring the live streams, they're monitoring the apps, the digital downloads, the podcast plays, all of that stuff. That means something. Mm-hmm. It's like, we can cover the whole northwest quadrant of Florida. Okay, cool, but are you going to get everybody listening on that radio station, or are they just going to be listening on their phone, if they even care at all about Bubba's show, but anybody's show in general? So, yeah, we'll put the 50,000 watt flamethrower.
I got another 50,000 watt FM that's looking at us. The documentary hits in exactly 4 weeks. That's going to open up some possibilities.
I guess he's put out his own documentary. I was looking up information. I couldn't find much on it, but I guess he has his own documentary coming out about him, which that always is good. Let me fund a documentary about myself. It's not like when a book publisher comes to you and says, hey, we want you to write an autobiography. And you go, okay. And then they put a writer with you to help you do all of that stuff, to learn about your life. You don't go, hey, I wrote my autobiography, and shop it around to publishers and see if anybody bites, right, to take the writings from you.
Abilities. And Lummy, I will tell you this. I'm not going to get into it specifics, but Tom Bean, my agent, has started speaking with people from Sirius. You know what? I'm throwing it out there.
He could have. I'm not denying that they could be talking to Sirius. It also could be that his agent sent an email
right,
to some people that they have contacts over there. And they say, yeah, I started talks with them. Well, I just sent an email saying, hey, we'd like to talk about a possibility. And you're left on red, as the kids say.
What is everybody's mindset with regards to if I would be fortunate enough to get that situation that I bring Manson back? Or is there too much damage? I personally think there's too much damage. He said so many things.
This was an old producer of his show, and kind of like a second or third mic on Bubba's show forever. The producer used to have this character called Ned that for a long time, it was almost like how Ron and Fez would do a lot of carny stuff, kayfabe stuff. Mm-hmm. Bubba's big into the wrestling world, use a lot of jargon and lingo that's super annoying as his own language. But this guy, and I've met him. What's his name? Mike. Yeah,
it's Mike Waters.
Mike Waters. Thank you. I was trying to think of his last name. I've met him a couple times. We did a special with him on Compound Media for his solo show and everything. Very talented guy, knows what he's doing. We know that he was the major part of why Bubba was successful, because he had this Ned character. This character would do prank phone calls that were pretty funny. They would do parody songs. This guy was the big creative force within Bubba's world, and then they had a falling out, and the guy just started talking about what a terrible person Bubba was and all the stuff behind the scenes. And now he's bringing this guy back up again. He's like, well, if we get this deal, you think we should get the band back together and all that? Bubba does this all the time. He speaks in what ifs instead of let's wait till something's a bit more secure in the dealings before talking about any of this stuff. He brings everything there and then wonders why shit falls apart because he talked about it on the air.
and blamed, everything on me. I don't know if you would admit that I've grown tremendously post you and that I can do it without you, but you were the greatest of all time.
All right, so he's like, well, our show doesn't really need this anymore. We don't go that direction. I don't know if you'd admit that I've grown tremendously post you and I've done this without you, but do you think you might want to come back? Like,
yeah, that's kind of a really shitty way of doing
this. Is a very shitty way of trying to, this guy who's supposedly,
like, I don't need you, but you were good and I would like you.
You were fantastic for weren't there, but he's like, but the show's been successful without you. We don't really need to bring you on, but do you think maybe if we do bury the hatchet, you'd want to come back? Like, this is the shit I'm talking about when he just, Bubba's his own worst enemy from clips and things that I've read and seen and heard. And he has a habit of saying he's going in a sentimental direction and then says shit like there was no need to ever bring this up. You're saying maybe the quiet parts out loud. You're saying things that don't need to be. Yes, you're right there, Woodpit. Backhanded compliments. Yeah. It's like, I'm great. I'm fantastic. I know we'll thrive without you, but maybe we should mend fences and see about maybe coming back if this deal comes through. There's no deal. There won't ever be a deal. If they brought him back up for any reason, okay, I could kind of see that, but it won't be on a Howard channel. It would be on one of those back, the channels in the back of the dial that they throw a lot of the talk programs on that, unfortunately, either a lot of people don't know about or don't listen to.
Right.
What you do, respectfully, what you do, playing two characters, all the bits, all the songs, all the parodies, I'll give you your flowers. You're the best ever at parodies, and you're the best. You are the best ever, period.
Give you your flowers, another wrestling term.
Now, the show doesn't need that to continue on, doesn't need that to be successful, doesn't.
Why?
Again, yeah.
Why say this about the guy?
You're the best. You. There's no one that's going to beat you. Well, we could do without you.
Yeah. Either Bubba's...
There's no reason for that second part.
Either he has no idea how to be empathetic or compassionate or even just reasonable to talk to anybody.
Right.
Or he's one of these guys that's afraid of silence. Like, you can't let something sit there.
That's possible.
Like, nobody's saying anything right now. I got to fill it up. It's like, no, you don't. Don't. Take a lesson from the great Ron Bennington, king of the long pause. Perfected it. He'll just sit there. Like, there's be times where he's like, I don't know, Fez. 10 seconds goes by. Jamie, you're on with Ron and Fez. What can we do for you? It's like several beats hit before Ron said something again. And you know what? It worked on his show. Somehow he made the work. The less that was said sometimes was saying more than if they kept going on a certain subject, a certain comment, a certain train of thought, a topic, whatever.
Yeah. No, there was volumes in the silence.
Yeah.
Need that to gain affiliates and doesn't need that to...
I want to back this up again. Just
best ever, period. Now, the show doesn't need that to continue on, doesn't need that to be successful, doesn't need that to gain affiliates, and doesn't need that to potentially, replace Howard. But you...
Again, to potentially replace Howard. You're not replacing Howard.
Well, and this is the first time he's mentioned that specifically. Like, he's saying, like, well, you might be talking to Sirius.
Yeah.
But in what capacity? And now he's basically saying, if Howard goes, I'm going to be that filler.
Right.
I'm going to be the new replacement.
Right. So
he knows he probably can't do it on his own.
And it's
but
not
he also
like...
doesn't want to give the guy that much credit.
It's not like anybody wouldn't pick up Bubba. Look, Bubba's got a rap sheet and a trail behind him that any other company would look at him and go, we're not risking anything with this guy.
Right.
He's done too much for too long that it doesn't seem trustable or whatever. So I'm not denying that there couldn't be something for Sirius and him down the line, but it would be in a small capacity and it would be on a back of the room channel that no one's really paying attention to.
I was going to say, he ain't getting his own channel.
Him sitting there, it's that Carney thing. It's like, we might be replacing Howard, but you know who does this? And we never talk about him. Aaron from Steel Toe.
Mm-hmm.
When he was, I don't ever really talk about the guy, but when he was with, doing some specials for Compound, and yes, that was my doing. He would talk about, he was talking to this radio company. He would ask me stuff about contracts and negotiations and what should I be looking for? What should I present to them? And I talked to them. I said, well, send me what information you can and I'll work with you, because I've been through contracts. I've been through all of these things at big levels. I know what to look for.
Right.
And then it never happened. I'm like, well, if you want me to talk to the guy, give me his email. I'll reach out to him. Never happened. All of this stuff was like, yeah, we're talking with these. And then it got to the point where it's like he wasn't listening to anything I said. Anything I asked, he asked me about, how do I handle this? I would tell him. Next day on his stream, he would go and say the exact opposite. Or everything that I told him, it's like, don't bring these things up. And he did it. And that's why we stopped doing the specials. I'm like, he just doesn't listen. I mean, there's a lot more to it that I don't want to get into, but... Anyway, point being that he would always say, it's like, we're talking to these companies, whatever. Bubba's doing the same thing. I understand you got to boast and sell yourself because nobody else is going to do it. I get that. But you don't say, we're looking, we might be, up for replacing Howard. Nobody believes that.
Right.
Nobody buys that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and don't put it out there publicly. There have been many conversations you and I outside of doing this live where we've talked about the future, what we can do, what's going on,
right?
Meetings that are happening or not happening. It doesn't get brought here because until we know that that's a thing,
right?
Why bring it up?
Yeah.
Why fill everybody in on the plan or what could potentially happen? Because
I'm going to grab something. Keep talking about
this. It's going to be an issue, and there's no reason to put the cart before the horse. Like, you don't know that this is going to happen. You don't know that this is a done deal. You don't even know at the level of communication that's happening with Sirius. Because like Eric said, it could have just been an email sent to someone at some point. It could have been left on read. It could have been said, hey, let's go ahead and set up a meeting. Unless that meeting has bared any fruit, there's no point to bringing it up. And not only don't bring it up, don't also sit there and say, if we're going to do this, I want to bring people in and compliment them and then also shoot them down to not make it seem like you need them. Well, you know what? It does kind of make it seem like if you get that next level and you become that popular, you're going to need something to keep you going because you're not going to, outside of this market that you're in, you're not going to be as popular as you think you are.
Right.
And it's kind of just ridiculous.
Again, I'll state that, look, I understand you got to promote yourself. You got to put yourself on top because nobody else is going to. I fully get it.
But in a good way, though.
I understand why he's doing some of these things. But that's not the right direction to go. Say, we might be replacing Howard. Nobody believes that.
No.
Nobody believes that. And I'll tell you why nobody believes that, all right? Because I also know how people in the company feel about him. There were people that liked him. There were people that put up with him because he worked for Howard. Bubba is, from what I understand, I don't know the guy, but from what I understand from other people's experiences and stories and hearsay, can be generous to a fault if he likes you, right? He gave the president of the company something as a gift, and he gave it was in a very, very expensive shadow box. Mm-hmm. With crushed red velvet backing of the shadow box. He had a custom championship belt made for the president of the company.
Wow.
That when his deal was let go or fired, or I don't remember the situation of why he was gone, within days, I saw a small dumpster outside of the president's office.
I can understand this.
And he was throwing some of this stuff out from his office or the meeting rooms or whatever. And one of these things was sticking out was this big, awkward shadow box. And I looked at it and I went, that looks like a wrestling belt. And I'm like, what wrestling belt are they throwing out? So I walked over there and I looked and I saw what it was. I went, oh. So I asked around proper channels. I asked the assistant who I guess cleared it with him. I said, hey, they're throwing this out. Can I take this if you're just going to throw it out? And it was under the understanding that it wasn't to be displayed in our office. I could take it home, but that was it. And I went, okay, cool. So I took it home. And I sat on, and here's the thing. I would have kept it in the shadow box, but one, the thing was gigantic. It was a waste of space. But two, it was already cracked because he threw the thing into the dumpster and the glass was broken.
He's like, with a force of 1,000 suns.
Yeah.
I just chucked it across the room.
So, I removed it from the shadow box and I kept the belt.
Good.
Now, it's not aging very well because you'd think like, oh, these replica belts are expensive. They make a lot of money. but I guess part of the chrome thing on here started to fade because I didn't realize that it was peeling off on part of the guy's name.
Oh, no.
But Bubba, I just want to show you that, you think you're dealing with Sirius and everything, and that they gave zero shits about you because everything you gave them, I know Bubba was big into NASCAR and wrestling and all the things. There was you know how they take the NASCAR tires and they turn them into like coffee tables?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. There were those things being thrown away, and some of them were signed by NASCAR drivers. And I don't know, I don't know much about NASCAR drivers. Like, I don't know who's famous and who isn't really. But if you're a fan of NASCAR, I can imagine these would be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And the guy was throwing it out, and apparently these were all gifts from Bubba. But I just want to show you something, man. Look, if you're dealing with Sirius, they threw your shit out. Here, I'll show it to you.
Wow.
Right? So, this thing's fucking heavy. Can you put it on the solo screen for me?
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
If you could do that. Okay. Look at that. Scott Greenstein, president of SiriusXM, he gave this to him. Now, from what I understood, when it was in the shadow box, it sat in like the corner of an office, wasn't even displayed or hung up or anything. So when the deal was done, he threw it into the dumpster. Now, the side parts of the belt, look at that.
Oh, wow.
So these are the companies that Scott used to work at. Viacom, Miramax. He was known, I don't know if you can hear me, the mic moved. For a while, Greenstein was known as the third Weinstein brother, unofficially. Which I don't know how he escaped that shit when all the stuff went down with Harvey. But, so yeah, you can see right there. Look, Miramax Films, Viacom, and then the other stuff that he worked on right here. Look, so you got USA Films, which was NBC at the time. I don't know what that shit is. But look, I cannot get the thing right.
And apparently at
right
the
there.
Bottom there, he was part of the Black Panthers.
Oh, that's the Howard fist that he stole from the Black Panthers. I know. But like the Sirius logo and everything. So he gave this to the president of the company, manager of talent, Scott G, world champion, or whatever this thing is there.
That was in a box. So that is already huge.
The guy didn't want it. He threw it out the second your deal was done. We were still there. So I went and I asked for it, and they're like, yeah, take it. I just couldn't display it in the office. So there it is.
Wow.
This was the gift that you gave to the president. You could take it off the solo screen.
I know.
This was the gift that he gave him.
That's crazy.
Oh my
just
God.
Chucked out.
That thing's
trash.
heavy.
Yeah, that looks cumbersome.
Big Red Tower saying that belt is awesome. Saving even if it's falling apart. Yeah, I did. I've saved it for all these years. He's been off the station. He's been off that at least well over a decade, I think, since leaving SiriusXM. Mr. Butterballs, don't lie. You actually stole it.
That's why the glass is broken.
You love wrestling.
Just grab it.
No, I took it because I asked. I had to go through his assistant, and I had to wait for Scott's approval to take it. And then I was told, here's what you can't post it, you can't do, have it in the office and display all those things. You can take it home and whatever, but I couldn't do anything publicly with it. So I did. I took it home, and who knew now of all time it was relevant to bring out and do something with. Whippet saying that probably cost quite a bit to have made. I'm sure it is heavy. It is about as heavy as real championship belts. Like, we've had tons of WWE and UFC champions in the show from over the years, and we got a chance, you hold the belt, feel the belt and everything, and those things are fucking heavy. So, yeah, it's not like he cheaped out on the belt. That belt was really well made and well done. Leather strap, everything.
I'm looking at some of them right now that aren't even as close as embellished as that, and they're running $300-$400.
Look at the replicas that WWE sells.
Oh, I know.
For all those things here, they're at least $500.
Yep.
At least, unless it's on like a kid's version of a belt, they're all over $500. They're expensive, but I guess you're getting what you pay for, we put that up there. Thank you for that, Jared. That's very kind of you. All right. So anyway, that's just Bubba being Bubba, I guess, but just
it's a terrible way to go about trying to drum up some kind of run on your name. Like,
Yeah.
it's like he's trying to. It's like when you're wakeboarding, like you're following the boat, you're heading the wake. He's trying to just stay with the boat, and Howard's the boat, and it's just not going to happen. Like,
talking about that old radio speak of like we're on a 50,000 watt monster, and that doesn't mean what it used to mean anymore.
No one cares.
Yeah, because now it's just saying like, oh, people are online streaming. It's like I have 4,200 people in my chat. Now, that's way more than we have. I fully admit that. But also, in the whole scheme of things, means nothing. No. It's not impressive. You have to have millions before anybody even dots an I, or bats an eye. Dots an eye is a contract. Bats an eye at what you're doing and go, oh, yeah, you've got some people looking at you. Maybe we'll talk. Like, that's just the demographics that we're living in and working in right now as far as being in media. There's hard numbers now. It's not a guess on radio where you can just say, oh, we have 3 million listeners in this market. Really? Because your market only has 1 point whatever. How do you have 3 million listeners for all of this shit? All right. Moving on. Another person that thinks he's going to get Howard's job, or at least get back on Howard's show, is the deadbeat drunk Stuttering John, who we've been quietly following for the longest time. The Uncle Rico Show, Who Are These Podcasts? Those programs do a great job. The what?
I think everything's ramping up too. Because,
because there's a lawsuit
Carter
going
posting
on
about it.
Right. But anyway, Uncle Rico Show, Who Are These Podcasts? Do a great job documenting stuff on John. You should go watch those. And if you're like, Stuttering John, who gives a shit about Stuttering John? One, yes, you're right. But two, like, was anything going on with him? Go back and look. There's been, like, that Uncle Rico Show exists because John was harassing Shuley, and then Shuley went, okay, motherfucker, game on. And now they're like 3 years strong and profitable for doing all of this stuff.
I mean, look at last year when we were doing the morning show boot camp stuff.
Oh, yeah. What did we do?
After we were done, we ran over there and we got some Jack in the Box. We got dropped off,
and we were watching
in a hotel room listening to the show as we were like packing up and getting everything. Like it is that enthralling to listen to this stuttering, muttering prick, and just dealing with all his life, and it's insane. It is just wildly insane. And it just keeps getting crazier.
I know. And then he disappeared for a while. He was gone for like 8 months. Came back, and then all these phone calls got leaked, and then more shit was going on. John was making appearances. Then he left again. A few months ago, he left again, but he's doing television appearances. He's trying to do stand-up comedy, dabbling in stand-up comedy, and he goes and does these shows. Every time he does a show, somebody's got a recording of it, and you hear him doing the same old jokes or how terrible he is at anything to do with being a presence on stage. Mm-hmm. And so now he filed a lawsuit and served papers to both Shuley and to Carl from Shuley from, because the New York Post got it wrong, Shuley from Uncle Rico and Carl from WATP. This just it keeps getting more and more amazing, and I've already had conversations with people who were saying, like our pal Tukey, Bedabbler, we're doing is like, could you imagine if this actually goes to court? And he's been saying on his shows for the last few weeks now, and he goes, if this goes to court, I will be there. We'll all be there. Somebody asked me, he's like, would you go? I said, fuck yeah, I'd go. And I think Anthony online said he would go to we'd gladly go sit in the courthouse to watch all of this happen. Like, this is fantastic. Anyway, so the Howard stuff came around. Somebody posted something about there's this troll account that constantly makes John believe everything that they're doing is legit, and John falls for it all the time. Look at this right here. So the original post says, if the king of all media leaves, many think former sidekick and Tonight Show announcer Stuttering John could be the perfect replacement. He responded and he'd go, I'd do this, and tagged SiriusXM. No. Never going to happen. Now he could probably say, I was joking or whatever. No, you're not. You're that retarded that you are honestly putting there, and he goes, you never know. There could be a chance they would see this. Nobody looks at corporate accounts, number one. people who schedule shit to put on corporate accounts never look at the feedback. So you're tagging a company that will never notice or respond to any of this. If you tag somebody specifically, you have a better chance of getting some sort of reaction than tagging a company. But Dum Dum here thinks like this would be an opportunity. Now, did you have something that you wanted to say?
No. I was just laughing. How stupid.
Thought you were leading up to something. Now, this leads up to he did a broadcast on his YouTube channel a few days ago. And from what I understand, he only did this because somebody pointed out that he hasn't streamed on YouTube in a while. That if you don't stream within a certain amount of time, you lose your monetization for your channel. Mm-hmm. So you can't get super chats, you can't get money, just like us. We're not getting super chats because everybody in the chat room doesn't want to pay for that, and that's fine. We're not asking you. But Jordan has Legos he needs to pay for, so get to it.
I've just got new shelving for.
Oh, you did? Look at that.
Yeah, background's changed a bit. Got a couple of those guys.
Look at that.
I know.
You have so much more room for activities.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, you lose your super chats, you lose your monetizations, you lose all of those things. So somebody tipped him off, so he went online and did a thing where he was not going to talk about Dabbleverse or any of that other stuff, right? But he talked about Howard, and a couple of things I want to point out. One, he's watching a Yankee game while this is going on. So I trimmed this up. I did the old jump cut edit because there are long pauses that he's just so drunk or dumb that he doesn't know what he's saying. That was annoying me, so I trimmed it up to make it go a little faster. Mm-hmm. 2, he would be talking, and then all of a sudden he would talk about 3-2 of the count for whatever. And you're like, who cares about this fucking baseball game? So I cleaned it up a bit here to play it. He thinks that there's a possibility that he could be invited back on Howard for the big swan song for the Howard Stern show. Listen to this.
Let me ask you guys a question. Wouldn't it be nice for him, for his fans, to have maybe me back for
Howard? Wouldn't it be nice for Howard and his fans to have me back on? No one's thinking this.
No
one's thinking. Howard's not even thinking this. Howard scrubbed him from all best of stuff like a long time, a decade ago, when John was dumb enough to try to file a lawsuit, and he was suing SiriusXM. Because he was trying to claim that they were making money off his public persona, his celebrity, by playing his clips and all this other shit. The case got thrown out of court with prejudice. Do you know what that means?
I just, if I'm remembering correctly, is it when the court realizes this is either a frivolous lawsuit or
such a waste of time?
Yeah, it's just a waste of the court's time.
That you can't come back and try this again.
Right.
So they're with prejudice, you can never file this lawsuit again because it is such a waste of time. And once you do that, you think the company's going to ever do anything for him? No. Do you think Howard's ever going to give a shit for him? No. Howard hasn't given a shit about him in the longest time.
Well, and see here, look at this. Woodpit says if Howard was leaving, he might, as a gesture of pity. Do you think really he cares? No, he doesn't care that much.
There'd be other people he might bring back if he is leaving and he's going to do the big ramp up finale thing. There might be some I think he's in somewhat good standings with Jackie. He might bring Jackie back. He might bring Billy West back because he never had a problem with Billy West. If Billy came back to say goodbye. There might be old guests that he hasn't had on him forever, but I mean, we won't get Gilbert back because Gilbert has long passed.
I would rather dig up the corpse of Gilbert Godfrey than get Stuttering John back on that show.
I could even, it seems improbable, but it's not impossible. If Howard's on his way out, meaning he's leaving on his own thing, he could do a pop-up with Artie. I don't think that would happen, but he could. Everybody but John you could see, it's like WWE, everything's wrestling. It's like WWE. Vince used to say, and Triple H currently says, never say never. People could leave the company, with a big problem with Vince or with their direction of creative and legal stuff or whatever. Somewhere down the line, because they can make money and the audience wants it, they'll make the deal and they bring these people back. And then the place goes fucking nuts because they mended fences and such is back. There's rumor right now that WWE might be talking with Chris Jericho. who's been the poster boy for AEW since it started, that he might come back. And the audience goes crazy for, they all want Jericho to come back.
But see, you're talking about audience wanting these things to happen. I don't see an audience sitting here going, this will only work if we get Stuttering John back.
Right.
There is a laundry list of people that you would rather see over him.
Mm-hmm. Everybody. The big get,
Literally everybody.
The big get would have been Artie and Gilbert, but Gilbert's not around anymore, so Artie would be the end-all, be-all surprise to get back on Howard's show.
Yeah.
Anything could be possible. Who knows? John is beyond dead. John never existed in the history of the show as far as the on-air presence of the show goes. Here's some more of it.
Week. Jackie back for a week. Artie back for a week.
He wants his whole week.
He wants a whole week? What is he, a teenage girl celebrating a birthday?
Artie would be back for a day. Jackie would be back for a day or a segment or something. There was no way John would even be back for a segment. Not even for a pre-recorded bit or even an ID. Howard, thank you so much for everything over the years. You wouldn't even get that privilege.
Right.
To be part of the show.
Billy back for a week. Grillo back for a week. The E-guys.
You hear him burping and drinking?
I was going to say, this guy sounds like he's got heartburn right now. He's just like,
it's not heartburn. He's a lush.
DePace, Goodstein, Wilson. I mean, wouldn't that be nice for the fans to just, check in on them and, and hear and bust? Well, of course, I'd be essentially there to bust the buoy.
He thinks he's going to come back like he'd be welcome, and he'd sit there, and we'll rag on Gary. Nobody rags on Gary the way John used to rag on Gary in 20-something years. Gary still gets shit from Howard, but in different ways now. It's not like, Gary was in the back eating shrimp, and no one fucking cares about that anymore.
All right.
Gary has progressed into so many other monumental disasters on that show, like his pitch for the opening pitch for the Mets.
Right.
Which lives in, that's something, you get onto him. There's stuff where Gary's fallen asleep in the office or his salads or something was stinking up the place. There's all these other things that Gary's not the same guy that he was 30 years ago, 20 years ago with John, but John is still the same guy 20 or 30 years ago when they were all there together. He's like, I'll be there to bust the buoy. No one would entertain this.
But I mean, it would be a nice thing. And make no mistake about it, I don't dislike Gary. I don't really dislike
He shits on Gary all the time.
Anybody. I don't even dislike Fred. I don't really have any.
Never mentions Fred. Nobody really mentions Fred. I will point out the several times I've talked to Fred and I've actually asked him things about how he did his job with the sound effects, the days of carts and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice man. And the fact that you take an interest in the technical stuff, he was glad to tell me. Like how his, like he had his own system. He never explained his system, but he would tell me about the rack unit. Cause I said, we had that studio after you and you had these cabinets, and he told me what was in those cabinets. He told me how the rack systems were. And these are questions fans aren't asking. This is somebody in the radio that was asking. And he answered anything I could, anything he could when I talked to him. Fred was always a nice person to me. I've never had a bad thing ever to say about Fred.
Animosity for any of them. I mean, we were in the trenches together, and and we built something beautiful. And when I say we, I know you do. Oh, well, you didn't know. Well, I was a part of that show, and I was there when Howard was only on New York and Philly. And while there, we ended up adding about 70 other markets. So, and I believe it's because of that core group, essentially why we, became so successful.
No. He's sitting there as like, I helped make the show what it was. Okay. Well, the content on air, you definitely delivered for content on the air. But as we found out over time, and definitely through the deep dives of Uncle Rico and WATP, John didn't write shit. and other people from the show that are either currently with the show or are not on the show have all said John didn't do anything. John didn't know how to use the software. John wasn't writing anything. He was asleep in the office, or he had other. I used to hear shit on when I would listen growing up in New York. I used to hear. There was a time, it was multiple times, but one time in particular, they had John in, and Howard's yelling at John for borrowing money to pay for lunch, right? Mm-hmm. And then, like, he was borrowing money, not from just like employees, but I guess like guys like Jason and Will, who are executive producers of his show and higher ups now. But back then, were either like interns or they were just, assistants. They weren't making much money. And John's borrowing money off of these people, off of interns. And then found out that John was sending interns with his ATM card and code to go to find an ATM to get money out of his bank account for him because he wasn't allowed to leave. And this was a regular occurrence. And even then, I was like, who the fuck gives out your ATM card and your PIN?
Right.
And you're going to trust these people? Well, they'll bring me the receipt. Yeah, but they could also steal a couple $100 and say, oh, I lost the receipt or whatever. And then you don't find out for days because you're too dumb to look. But I mean, it was one thing. We used to have, we'd have like a corporate credit card. So that if we had to send somebody down, whether it be the staff or interns or whatever, to get coffee or breakfast orders for either for Opant and Jim or for any of the guests that were coming in. Sometimes we'd have guests come in the morning and they required something. So we would send down that. We had a credit card. Mm-hmm. At least with a credit card, you could cancel the card and get your money back. With an ATM, if somebody takes out the money, you're fucked. Like, it just the level of stupidity on that guy has been mind-boggling, and it's been going on for 30, 40 years that he's been in any form of public eye for all of this stuff. So he thinks that he deserves to come back for, one last hoorah. Yeah, with Howard's show and what have you. That will never happen. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, let's play a little game. Ooh. Our old producer, Louis Johnson, he worked for, he started at the very tail end of Opie and Anthony when got fired, was with us all through Opie and Jimmy and then the Opie radio stuff. He produced my show on Friday nights, and he has now been the producer of The Bonfire with Big J. Okerson and Bob Kelly. Used to have Dan Soder on there, and then he left. He's been producing that show 7 years, I think, something around there. He's doing very well. Very nice guy. And he was on a podcast recently. I guess he went to his first NASCAR event. Oh. And there was a podcast there called Men at Work, where I guess they just talk to people and they ask what you do for a living and then just interview random people about that, right? One of them, I think, is a comedian too in the Philadelphia area. So Louis happens to go on to this show, and there's a guy, I should have wrote your name down. I apologize. I know he's going to scream at me on Instagram for not mentioning this. He sent me this clip, and he sent me another clip of Sam's show, which we're going to get into next. I apologize. I'll try to see if I can find your name and give you the credit, but Louis is on there, and they start talking about his history of producing shows. Now, what we're going to play is, does Louis list our show on his credits or not?
Oh, no.
Okay. Here we go.
My name is Louis Johnson. How are you guys?
Louis Johnson.
Full
government on that. I
My
like that.
God.
Full government. Okay. What do you do for a living?
I am a comedic radio show producer for Sirius XM.
Oh, yeah?
I produce a show called The Bonfire.
Yeah.
With
oh, my God,
Big J. Okerson and Robert Kelly.
Yeah, no shit. Formerly Dan Soder.
Formerly Dan Soder, absolutely.
Holy shit. What do you do? Are you a big race guy?
I am not. This is my first race.
Are you guys doing stuff with The Bonfire here?
Nope.
Oh,
I just came to hang with my boys.
Just came to hang out.
Absolutely. Figured I'd wear my best American-inspired attire.
100%.
So I'm here, chilling.
How long you been producing?
I will point out that is quite a choice outfit.
That is. I was gonna say that is a getup.
He makes it work though.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad on him.
It doesn't look bad on. If I dressed like that, it would be like,
it would be bad.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, Lewis kind of makes it work.
I'm storming the White House steps in that.
Doing it for like 8 or 9 years. I started out with Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay. Opie and Anthony.
Actually, Opie and Jimmy.
Opie and Jimmy. Do we have the ding sounds? Where's the ding sound? There we go. Opie and Anthony. Opie and Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah.
Literally, the time that I got in there, Anthony got fired.
Is that right?
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I started doing that for a while. I was doing My Wife Hates Me with Voss and Bonnie.
Okay. Voss and Bonnie. Also on our channel.
Nice.
Now, what's your bet? Do you think he mentions us or no?
I think the fact that he's thinking and pulling that information back out, I think he doesn't. I think he leaves it out.
Okay. I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to use the power of positive thinking. And I think Lewis is going to mention our show.
And a couple of others. Oh, Race Wars with Sherrod Small, Kurt Metzger. And then I kind of transitioned into doing the bonfire.
Denied.
I don't get no respect at all.
No mention.
Wow.
No mention.
Oh.
Always happens.
All this other stuff. I pulling out last second items.
Right.
And then I transition to the bonfire.
Zia was infamous for doing this. She'd go on other shows, never once would mention that she was on our show for 4 years. To this day, doesn't even acknowledge.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen her mention you or anything in.
No, I understand. Like, she had a fallout with Giddles, and that all ended terribly. But, Zia and I were fine. Like, we talked and everything, at least as far as I was aware of, we're good and everything. But while she was on the show, never once mentioned the show, ever. It was just some sort of joke that anybody that worked on the show never talks about the show when they're on other platforms. So Lewis did not mention the program.
Oh, Lewis.
Still like Lewis, but that was disappointing. We didn't mention this because I want to get to the same guy again. I don't know if you're in the chat here, but I'm looking through my Instagram trying to find the guy's name. Sent me that clip and also sent me this thing of Sam's show talking about the old days and mentioning myself. Oh, excuse me. I wanted to bring this up. We had mentioned Uncle Rico, which is Shuli's show. And they gave us, or me, a nice little shout here. Let's take a look.
Scoop for you when I heard that Howard was getting canceled.
My finger in my ear. Yeah. First of all, I got to give E-Rock some credit because he went on WATP and said right out the gate, this is from the Stern camp. This whole story, they put this out. And I was like, I don't know about that. But I didn't doubt it because Sirius never trashed him before in the negotiations in the press like that. At least I don't remember that.
Right.
So, and then you see staffers retweeting that Howard and sharing that Howard's coming back to talk about this. And I'm like, that's it. No staffers sharing anything about this story unless given a thumbs up, or it was from the inside. So shout out to E-Rock for calling that shit.
And he would know. He worked on that show for 15 years. So thank you to Shuli.
Yeah, thank you.
And go check out the Uncle Rico show. It's the Shuli Network on YouTube. Go and subscribe. You'll enjoy your time there.
I was going to say, and if you want to throw us some donations to pay for our travel to watch the court proceedings.
Oh yeah, well when that time comes around, then we'll start.
We'll really push for those.
We'll start putting out the links. Yes, because we'll want to fly Jordan in to.
Because I'm going to
go be part of that. Old Restless. Zia was introduced to the world on this show when she moved on to Chip. She never mentioned the show again. Yeah, she was on Jim and Sam a couple times, and. I'm not up at that time in the morning, but people love to tweet me and tell me when other shows are talking about me, and it's never anything good. Any of the positive stuff never get doled about. But when I wake up and I see my Twitter or Instagram replies are stacking up, and it's like, oh, they said this about you. They never plugged it on Jim and Sam. They never plugged it on Chip. They never plugged it anywhere she did interviews. She never talked about it. So that was a choice,
She's like, what are you doing now? Nothing. I don't want to talk about it.
It is what it is. Let's see. What else do we have here? All right. So this is the clip the other guy sent me. I'm going to look while we talk about it. This is from Sam's show. Sam has the solo show now that Jim left in December. It's just Sam's show. And it's produced by Travis, who also used to work on the Opie and Anthony show. So he sends me this clip, and I guess they were talking about, this was like a couple weeks ago from this thing. So I'm trying to remember what it was, but they were talking about something about the time when we used to get stuff signed by celebrities. And how it was the wild west as far as we're doing it, that we couldn't even think about today doing shit the way we did it back then when we were still doing that show. So we're going to do this. I've got photos, I've got videos that we can start and stop and add some layers to this conversation here. So let's take a look.
Early on, you bring a DVD to get signed, and we were doing that. I mean,
every day,
dude. O&A, especially the K-Rock years of O&A. And this is, by the way, credit to Jim Norton, who was such an autograph fiend at the time that he also thought that what he was doing was so regular that we all should get the opportunity to do it. You would have thought it was a Comic-Con.
A convention.
There would be a table. This is not a lie. We would have a folding table set up in the studio.
I'm sure there's pictures of it somewhere.
100%. It was.
I was looking. I didn't have enough time. I'm looking through old studio shots because I know somewhere along the lines I had photos of we had these giant like in wrestling when they'd have the tables that they would go through, those big brown rectangle tables that we just have stuff laid out there with Post-it notes and markers ready to go, standing there holding so that they could just go down the line, sign everything like it was, like they said, like it was a Comic-Con or one of those sports signings that you spend a ton of money for. We were getting it for free for all of that stuff.
Full of covers of DVDs, like the DVD covers or 8x10s or whatever. I mean, guests would come in and sign 15 to 20 items. It was fucking crazy.
Like Eric would just you would come in, you'd give your DVD or whatever to Eric
Nagel.
God bless him.
Yeah, and he was shameless too. He was the best.
Quietly just set everything up.
Yeah.
He would have his silver Sharpies, his black Sharpies,
different color markers.
I
mean, it was they do private signings.
Yes.
Where you mail your items in and pay. Because they have this celebrity in a hotel room, and they're not going to do a public sign, but we did private signings, but for free.
Post-it notes with everybody's name on them.
That's right. Yeah,
I was very detailed. I was good at this. I know how to get.
I was going to say, if I'm right, if you were to look back behind me, there's a copy of The Conjuring, and then there's a copy of Death Proof right there that you sent me, signed by a few gentlemen. So. Trust me, years later, I'm benefiting from your shameless autograph.
Everybody benefited because once Norton showed me the way.
Yeah.
Because this is how insane this is. I gotta show you this. Somewhere in here. Okay. So, Norton was so meticulous with all of this stuff. I had to do test photos of the camera to test the white balance. And I go, Jim, these are automatic. This is when you still had digital cameras, right?
Right.
I'm like, it's set on automatic, unless you manually adjust it, this is what it is. The flash is going to course correct everything that you're seeing here. Well, I don't like the flash because, get in the eyes and everything, but you need the flash. That's why it's there to fix the color and the white balance of this stuff, right? So we would go through all that. We'd test the camera. The battery's good. It has full power. Do you have the thing out there? We'd have fresh silver Sharpies. Right? Mm-hmm. We'd have to go. Jim would go, all right, test it. I want to see you test it out. I had to take it on a piece of paper and go like this. just to kind of break the head of the marker a little bit. Just because if you sign it kind of new, it would skip a little bit because the ink fully wasn't there. Yeah. So I'd have to do this all the time to make sure that this was a fresh marker. If it had any kind of graying on the head of there, it's like, I don't want that, throw it out because it's going to be too flat. It would write too wide instead of like pinpoint kind of thing. Like, it was insane. It got to the point where it quickly moved from Ben to Steve to me to take care of Jim stuff because they didn't want to deal with it, right? And then I grew to love it. Everybody else was annoyed with it. I loved having these experiences with Jim because it was hilarious. And if you knew how to do it right, because Jim would always admit, he's insane with some of these things, they would make great stories the next day on the air. It's like, I was with Jim. We were at this thing to get a Yankee thing signed, or we went across the street to K-Rock because that's there'd be a story about Jim's insanity. And other people had stories like this. Jim Florentine would talk about this stuff when they would go backstage for rock shows and things about Jim being a menace. Kenny would have stuff to deal with that. Sometimes Keith the Cop would have, like, anybody that had to deal with Jim in this capacity. Oh, there's Kenny right there. Hi, Kenny. I got one thing signed, the 50th anniversary of James Bond by Roger Moore. Yes, I do remember that. Quick little side note. I have it over there. I'll have to dig for it. I got, the Roger Moore joke from The Simpsons.
It's
right?
one of my favorite. I gotta say, this may be one of my favorite stories you've told me because I love The Simpsons so much. So I get the bit.
Right. So there's a thing where they're in the comic book man's shop, and he's looking at stuff in the counter. They're looking at stuff in the counter, and there's like, what that? He goes, it's a photo of Sean Connery as James Bond as signed by Roger Moore. Now, the joke was that Roger Moore would used to go to all these conventions and things before it was deemed okay. Like, it was still kind of taboo for movie stars to do commercials and television and those kind of things, or any celebrities to do any kind of convention where you would go and get autographs signed. Well, Roger Moore was infamously known in the 70s and the 80s to go do all these things and would sign everything that you possibly could. Is this the thing there? Yeah, that's the joke, right? So what I did was...
Janice?
Right. What I did was, as I photoshopped out the signature, right? And I wrote what to write on the Post-it note and had Roger Moore sign this.
Such a good bit.
Right?
It makes me so
It's
happy.
over there. It's in one of the cabinets over there. I don't want to run off and grab it, but I'll promise. Remind me next week. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, we'll get
so
it.
Roger Moore signed. I think I have a photo of him somewhere signing the thing. So we go to break. He's signing everything, whatever. We have long commercial breaks, 10, 15 minutes long, because we go long on that show. We come back from break. Jim is seething. And then he comes back and they're like, "What's wrong, Jimmy?" And he goes, "Could you have E-Rock?" When he starts going, could you have somebody come in here? When he starts talking low, Jim's about to explode.
Serious Jim.
Right. So we come in and he goes, "So yeah, he's telling the story." And he goes, "What did you get signed?" And I showed what it is. Jim wanted to yell at me because he thought I didn't know that was Sean Connery, not Roger Moore.
So he thought you were a moron.
Oh yeah. So I said, "Jim, that's the joke. The Simpsons joke was that it was a framed picture of Sean Connery as James Bond as signed by Roger Moore. The joke was that
photo of Sean Connery signed by Roger Moore.
The joke was that Roger Moore would sign anything if you paid him." So that was the Simpsons gag here, and Jim didn't fully understand it at first. And Travis, who's also a big Simpsons fan, brings it up and goes, "No, Jim," and we're explaining it. And then Jim goes, "Oh, okay." Jim was ready just to go fucking nuts at some sort of disrespect I was giving a major celebrity. There was another time, non-celebrity, I tweeted out something before the show. We were talking about it. We had a guest coming that day. So I tweeted out as the show started. And I remember Jim seething again. I'm sitting on my board, Ope's on his board, Ant's in his spot, Jim's where he sits. And he's losing his shit over this tweet that I put out on the show account. What? We have such and such coming in today. Yeah. why did you ever think, like, why wouldn't you tag the person in there so that maybe they would see it and repost it and promote that they're coming on the show? I did. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. What did? And he's showing it to me, and I walk in there. I go, Jim, look at the bottom. Twitter had just implemented the thing where you can attach a tag to a photo instead of writing it in the comments, and Jim wasn't aware of this. And he was losing his fucking mind over this thing, and we had to show Jim, no, it's there, it was tagged. And then he goes, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, it's supposed to be okay now at that point because you just were about to go code red on everything.
He's caught up. You're good.
Yeah. So those are the moments I miss on that show. The insanity, the nonsense. Let me see if I can find a date real quick of when Roger Moore was on the show. I'm looking through my database here. Because I think I have the photo of me posing with him. Let's see, 2012. Let me find the date. Do I have a date for this thing? November 9th. Okay, I got my drive here. This is fantastic for the audience.
Again, though, this just is actually very impressive if people really think about it, how quickly you can find things in your archive. I can't find pictures of my kids that I took 12 weeks ago.
Right.
You can if you have a date, you can pick out and find within minutes everything you need.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I don't think oh yes. All right, this isn't the best photo to see the thing, but we do have this. And all right, I got to move it off the drive over to here. Sorry about this, everybody.
No, this is funny. Intersect said, just look up the date Roger Moore died and you'll find your photo with him and Eric.
Oh, that's probably too. That's on my Instagram, but that's not when he was on the show. Okay, so here's an image of him in studio. It's not the one with me and him posing, but wait, where did it go?
I'll remove mine. So
okay,
it's buried at the bottom.
Here it is. Look in Roland's hand right down there. If you can see
There's
it.
the picture. Yeah, I see it.
It doesn't let me zoom in on this thing here.
No,
maybe
but
does
I
it?
see it for sure.
No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't let me zoom in. But you could see it right there. It's in Roland's hand.
Yep.
There's my photo of Roger Moore, of Sean Connery as James Bond, soon to be signed by Roger Moore.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's insane. So Sam is 100% right, and Travis too. It's like when you're talking about this, it's like the fact we could do any of this was ridiculous. Roger Moore was a great interviewer too. Roger Moore was fantastic. So glad that we got a chance to have him come on and do all that stuff. Whippet said, yeah, look through your one camera roll of 14,000 photos. No, I have a bit of a database that I can pull things up and
quite impressive
and do all of that. Yes, all those years of nerdiness finally paying off. Just look up. You had that already. Back to the Sam stuff here.
Pointing sign there.
And I think about that now, and I'm like,
this was crazy.
This is insane.
We were on an island.
Yeah, there was no talent department coming in. This is a K-Rock. Nobody was coming into that studio that didn't belong in that studio, you know?
And I'm not all of us. Myself, I know Travis, Roland, Eric. We would literally go shopping.
Yeah.
DVD shopping the night before.
Because William Shatner was coming in.
Right. It's not like
so
these
I better
were
get Wrath of Khan.
Right. Sometimes we just be like.
Can I point out that I brought the first Star Trek? I realized I grabbed the wrong one. I brought the first Star Trek movie in, where everybody
the one no one likes.
Yeah, the Viger one. Obviously,
yeah, look at Viger.
But look at it this way. Obviously, Wrath of Khan, the best Star Trek movie ever made, right?
Sure.
The most famous, the most beloved, what have you.
I would say the original cast. We gotta put that line there.
Why? What from Next Generation is
First Contact is one of my favorites.
All right, that's fair. Okay. I don't think it's bigger than Wrath of Khan, but it can be the close second.
Probably
for
not,
that.
but yeah.
Ricardo Montalban as Khan. So I realized I grabbed the wrong one and I brought in the first one. Now, you're right. Nobody liked the first one. The first one wasn't as well beloved as in the original older version of Star Trek. The even number movies were the favorites. The odd number movies were kind of eh.
Yeah.
But on that accident, how many people can say I have Star Trek 1 signed by William Shatner when everyone else has Wrath of Khan?
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Right?
That would be a good bit where you find the one thing that maybe they don't like as much or didn't do well or no one knows about. It's like having like Adam Sandler signing Overboard.
Right.
Like or going overboard or whatever his really like first movie was.
I think I have Adam Sandler signed Punch Drunk Love.
We'll see. That's a good one.
Yeah. Whoopit saying the first one they were saving whales or something. No, that was the fourth one.
That was the fourth one.
Again, 2, 4, and 6 were the ones that were beloved. 1, 3, and 5 were kind of meh.
The fourth one, other than Wrath of Khan, the fourth one I think is the best original cast movie.
Right.
There. It's fucking great.
Okay.
Like, what's the most obscure random movie we could find to get signed?
Oh yeah, the coordination. That was a thing because we'd have our talent list. We'd know ahead of time from Roland or the talent department who was coming in, who was on our schedule, whatever. And we would coordinate about what movies or what things we were going to get signed. So sometimes if a guest came in, Roland would ask, it's like, what can I get? What do you think I should get? And I said, oh, for that, you should get this thing. Oh, okay. I don't know what Roland did with any of that stuff, but he would ask sometimes that, with that, or he'd give you money. He's like, could you pick me up a copy too if you're going to, because on my way home, there was a Best Buy and Best Buy was still, Best Buy at the time. You could rely on it.
Right.
So I would stop there all the time to get CDs, movies, or whatever. Or Walmart wasn't far from there either, or Target, or any of those places. So you could go there and grab all that stuff before a guest came in.
People get mad at you for the ones you wanted signed.
Well. When the Coreys came in, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, we laid out the private signing table. And I believe I had multiple items. Many of us did.
Too. Yeah, I had License to Drive.
I did too.
Oh, I'm jealous of that one.
I got both of them to sign it.
I think I had License to Drive as well.
I have both. I have License to Drive signed by both as well.
And then I know I have something else.
Yeah, I don't remember if I brought.
I may have brought the Goonies just for.
I have Goonies.
I might have brought Lost Boys. I don't remember.
I would have brought Lost Boys. That's what
I think I have Lost Boys signed, and I don't think I've ever watched the movie.
Really?
I don't think I've ever watched that movie. In fact, if I do have Lost Boys signed, do you want that? I'll give it to you.
Of course I would.
Okay. You know what? Let me go look in the archive real quick. If I'm not back before they're done talking about the Coreys, just pause it and wait for a second. But see if you can take over here, okay?
Yep.
Do it.
Lost Boys signed, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was, but they did a movie together, National Lampoon's Last Resort, I want to say.
Yep.
And I mean,
oh, that was terrible.
It was a shit show.
All right, hold on a second. I got to correct this thing here. He's talking about The Last Resort. He's talking about a movie that Corey Feldman didn't. He said Corey Haim, but it was Corey Feldman didn't want to sign. It wasn't that. Now, it was correct that. Huh?
Was it Meatballs? Because I know he was like in like.
Hang on.
3 or 4.
He is correct. He's going to explain. Derek, our old audio production. I'm not our imaging guy, producer, production guy. I love Derek. Derek was a lot of fun. Derek brought in Meatballs 3.
Oh, so bad.
It was Corey Feldman that refused to sign it, threw it on the floor. I picked it up and put it back on the table while they were signing other things. He walked over again and then saw it and threw it again. He goes, I'm not fucking signing this thing. And then went on to a little, tirade about something about the payment or he didn't get royalty or something from the movie. Hated it. But yeah, it was Derek who brought Meatballs 3 that Corey Feldman threw on the floor twice. The second with prejudice because he did not want anything to do with it. You keep going with this. I'll be right back.
Movie done for the money?
Mm-hmm.
It's in 94. It was way after.
Way past.
This is after their run.
So they're signing it, the private signing.
Characters.
Right.
But after,
okay, good.
After the original run.
We're giving them, carpal tunnel syndrome or whatever because they got writer's cramp.
Sure.
Because they're signing so many items. And Corey Haim, God rest his soul, sees the DVD cover for Last Resort and throws it off the table and keeps signing. And our old sound guy, Derek, who's just the most hilarious person, he sees them knock it off the table. He picks it up. He puts it back on the table.
Oh, my God.
And Corey Haim knocks it off the table again.
He's like, I'm not signing that shit.
I'm not signing that shit, he says. I mean, dude, and it's not like we would just take advantage of Corey Feldman and Corey Haim. We put out the table for Sacha Baron Cohen dressed as Borat.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, man, that's an autograph I'd love.
It's funny that he has such an issue with Meatballs, either 3 or 4, because the band that he tours around with, his lead guitarist was in that Meatballs movie, and that's who he tours with now. So like he's still in that world and still brings it up because he mentions it. He mentions it in his live show, which unfortunately I've seen. And it's hilarious that he had such an adverse reaction to it.
I have the Ali G show on DVD signed, and he signed it as
Ali G.
Ali G.
In character.
Yeah.
And then Roland didn't have one. So he said, "Are you getting the DVD cover signed?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Can I have your insert?" I have him sign the insert. That way I'll keep the insert, you keep the cover. I go, "Yeah, that's cool." And he signed like the insert. He signed the cover. He signed Travis's cover. And it's
I had to give my Field of Dreams.
All right, hold on a second. All right, so I went into the vault and I looked. One, I found my license to drive.
Nice.
Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. Who was the girl? It was Heather Graham.
It was Heather Graham.
Oh, I had her sign it too.
Oh, that's a good one. I love Heather Graham.
All right, so this is the other movie she signed, because the other one's framed over there on the wall. She signed Austin Powers 2.
Nice.
We would always look for weird things to bring in. Like everyone could bring the big thing in, but if you could look for weirder things, the celebrities usually tend to love that. And they're like, "You like that movie? Oh, yeah." And you talk about that. So, yeah, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Heather Graham signed that one.
Well, I did that with Robert Englund. I went to a signing to have the Freddy versus Jason signed.
Right.
And when I went up and talked to him, I told him how much I loved his directorial debut when he did, I think it was 976 Evil. And
oh, yeah, I remember that.
What? He's like, no one ever talks about that. And then like I sat there for like 5-10 minutes at a signing just talking about that movie and how it fucked me up as a kid watching it on Cinemax late at night and, all that stuff. So it's like, yeah, sometimes they really do like when you bring up the lesser talked about properties that they're a part of.
Right.
Unless it's Meatballs 3.
Yeah, I don't have the Meatballs 3, but I can assure you. By the way, my kid yelled at me for not mailing the shark to you.
How dare you?
Because she's tired of seeing the shark.
Does she want to play with the shark, or
no,
she's just tired of seeing it?
She's just tired of seeing, because the one time she wanted to play with it, the pointy teeth on her hand, and she didn't like it. And now she's like, "When are you sending this to Jordan? Get it? I don't like seeing this.
I need this hazard out of here."
So I do have to mail it to you, but I can also now put this in there if you would like.
Oh, that's perfect. I would love it.
Lost Boys, Corey Haim.
I love Lost Boys.
Corey Feldman. Nice. I don't know why. I had Alex Winter on this show a long time ago. I don't know why I didn't get him to sign. He signed Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted is a good one.
But I don't know why.
I just pre-ordered a copy of Alex Winter's movie Freaked.
Right.
He did after he was big with Bill and Ted. I have that one coming.
All right. I have we'll get back to the Sam show in a second here, but I wanted to show you this.
The two Corey, Sundays at 10 p.m. on A&E. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Hold on. There we go. I don't know why StreamYard's doing that. I found some old footage here. Look in the back. See in the back right corner? Mm-hmm. That was the table that had everything set up. And they would come over there and sign. So this was Corey Feldman. I guess this was his wife. I don't know if he's still married or whatever, but
he's married to someone else.
Okay.
He's done a couple.
So he was with this person at the time, and there's Corey Haim right there.
For having us, guys. And Susie Feldman, of course. Thank you, Corey. All right, bro.
See, right there in the back was one of the tables. At one point, it got to two tables. It was an L shape in the corner of our studio there.
Good to meet you, too.
For where people would come in, celebrities come in. We'd have everything laid out there. Jim would have his photos that were printed out at Photo Labs and everything laid out there, covered and everything. It was a special way to handle Jim's photos and what have you. So yeah, you could see in the back of the corner there was the signing table. They just mentioned Borat, right, in the clip?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I wanted to show you this. This is one of the best things. So he came in as Borat, showed up as Borat.
That's pretty cool.
Talked in Borat and everything. Travis said, but when he went to sign for the Ali G thing, he talked to Travis, because he wasn't on air, talked to Travis as Ali G, and guy was very cool, right?
That's really cool.
He's Mephisto now in Marvel.
Yes,
I wanted to show you this clip that still shows up every now and then on the social. You know how certain things just are cyclical? They show up on social media for no reason other than somebody discovered it again and it became a thing. This is when Borat was talking about putting Patrice O'Neal in a cage. Take a look.
And
Look at this man. He is a big.
do you have?
All right, right behind Patrice, you can barely see me, is me. That's where my secondary board, I would sit right there.
Hey, do you have that color in your country?
We have a one man like this. He work in a circus. People pay 25,000 tenge to touch his hair. He's called Gogol. You know him?
Don't I look like Kazakhstani women?
You are not the woman's. You are a big man.
Yes, sir.
I would like to wrestle you with no clothes.
I wish I had the cram that I should have been blessed with.
Oh, you don't have a big cram?
Oh, I wanted a baby on, but I didn't get blessed with a big cram.
Yes, mine is thick like a can of Pepsi.
You're the Indians.
Dot
The
Indians?
dot Indians. What are the dot Indians?
Well, there's the red ones that at the casinos, and then there's the dot ones that we mistake for Arabs.
Yes. What?
The ones that look like black people with white people hair.
Ah, yeah, you're hungry. Yeah.
I love
what?
I love that Patrice got him to like break for a second because he didn't know how to react to the Indian casinos and the dots for Arabs. And it's like you could tell it took him out of it for a minute and he had to like think, how do I proceed with this? And then went back into character. That was great.
Now you
are a fat.
Whoa! Whoa, Borat!
Not just you're fat. You're a fat.
You're a fat.
Yeah.
You're yeah.
Oh, there I am, right there over Patrice's shoulder.
I like.
Hey, man,
Very
we're all
nice.
just having fun here.
Borat's messing with my self-esteem. I just asked about dot Indians.
Women would go crazy for you in Kazakhstan. They like it very much. A fat.
Would they let me get on top in Kazakhstan? Or what's the
position?
The known position, the best position.
Most famous position in Kazakhstan is called the dog style.
Ah,
Yes,
right.
where the man stand up like this.
Oh yeah.
And the dog stand like this.
No,
you have tried this?
No, never tried that one.
Awesome.
All right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
All right. Back to the Sam stuff here.
Signed by Ray Liotta. No, I had to give my Goodfellas signed by Ray Liotta to Anthony because Anthony forgot to bring something in. So I kept Field of Dreams because I love Field of Dreams. But I also love Goodfellas. And I was like, nah, you can have that too.
Yeah. I probably have Goodfellas signed by Ray Liotta.
Probably do. It's
I have
probably
a
in a
box.
box somewhere in the club.
That's happened a few times where
you forget you had something.
No, like the staff, because we were all greedy. The staff would always have our stuff set and ready to go. Sometimes, like Norton, very rarely ever forgot anything, or he didn't bring something because he didn't really care about a certain guest. But then at the end, he did, and now he wanted the book, or now he wanted the DVD, or whatever.
Yeah.
So you on rare occasion, there would be times Anthony forgot his stuff too. We would send the interns out to go to Barnes and Noble or any of the stores, because New York at that time, everything's open at all hours. You could send them somewhere to go pick up, go get the book, go get the movie, run back here, you know. But if one of the hosts forgot something and they wanted that, you kind of had to. You can't just go, no, this is mine or whatever. You had to give it up to them. You know, it's like, here you go, you can have it. And it makes sense because without them, you don't have this opportunity, you know?
Sure.
So you would have to do that.
It's probably my parents' attic.
Yeah. None of that shit is displayed anywhere.
I know. But there's so much.
So much.
And to answer your question, yes. I went through all my DVD collection trying to pull out everything that's signed.
There's a few things that I have.
Hold on. Kenny's in here. If Norton forgot something, I had to go to his apartment and get it. That too. That was another thing. It's like, it's like, all right, where's Kenny? I got to get the card for the intern for Brett. Oh, Kenny had to go back because Norton forgot whatever. So it's like, just lay it out and he'll reimburse you. Okay, no problem.
That I'll keep.
Yes.
Like I have Dogma signed by George Carlin and Chris Rock and Kevin Smith. And I'll keep that.
The DVD or the poster?
The DVD.
No.
And the DVDs.
I have Carlin signed a couple of CD covers for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have. I don't want to take it off the wall, but over there, a long time ago, I wrote to. I met his daughter Kelly, and this you're talking back in the early 2000s,
right?
And we talked for a little bit, and said I was she knew I was a big fan of her dad and everything. She said, "No, email me, and I'll get him to sign a photo for you." So I emailed her, and she sent it, and I have the black and white photo that George signed.
That's cool.
But then above it, framed is when he came into the show, I got my photo. So I pieced it all together, right? So I have the CD covers. I also have, he signed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's good.
So
That's good.
I thought at some point we'd run into Keanu Reeves. It has not happened, but I have 2 of the 3.
Still time.
I have Alex Winter and I have George Carlin on the movie cover for Bill and Ted's.
Tough to find anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's going to come back out, but for the longest time,
and that version and everything.
Yeah.
And no, that's a cool thing. Yeah, I have. I think
I
it's
have a few things that I'll definitely keep.
I think it's a WrestleMania 19 DVD that is now very difficult to get anyway. Or maybe it's 17. It might be 17 because I think it's got the old logo, which is why you can't,
Sure, yeah.
But it's signed. It's Rock and Stone Cold are on the cover, and it's signed by Stone Cold. And I got to dig it up, and I'm gonna get it signed by The Rock, and I know I'll be able to.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and that would be like one of those, like, yeah. But like, there are some things where it's like, I'm sure I have movies signed by actors that I've never seen the movie.
Absolutely.
You just go out.
I did. Lost Boys. I still haven't watched it, and I'm giving it to Jordan now. So
that's so fun.
We're in that sort of. We were young, and like it would just be like, well, we got to get something. There's an actor coming in.
Hold on. This is another thing I forgot about. Kenny also had to keep a stock of baseballs, basketballs, boxing gloves, and UFC gloves on standby for him. Yes, we
Makes
had
sense.
cabinets in our the office I shared was Roland and myself, but it was built for 4 people, but it was just the 2 of us there, right? And they had all these cabinets in the office. So one cabinet was just designated for Kenny because he had to keep stuff there for Opie's breakfast and whatever else Kenny needed to use it for. But this also as well, I forgot he had baseballs, he had UFC gloves, things had to be there in case, not only on our show, but sometimes guests would show up for other things that we either weren't aware of, or if a legendary athlete was in Sirius to be on another program, we had to let him know. It's like, hey, such and such is here. Go grab something out of Kenny's cabinet. Go get it signed for Norton.
I was going to say, I think that was one of my other favorite stories you've told me, is when Tyson came in and he's like, look, I'm not going to sign boxing gloves. But then you pulled out like your original still in box Mike Tyson's
it's
punch
over
out.
there.
Yeah. I was like, that's a good one.
It's in a shadow box and everything. So he signed the box for Mike Tyson's punch out. And then I'm holding it with him in a photo of him holding the signed Mike Tyson's punch out.
I know.
Both the photo and that is there. But also I was going through my stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but right there, they put out Everlast. Is it Everlast Boxing? Is that the?
I believe so. Yes.
Everready's the battery, so it is Everlast. They put out.
He signed batteries for me. It was weird.
He kept putting the 9 volts on his tongue. He took they put out custom gloves for when he had a reality show about his pigeons.
Oh yeah. I remember
For the Learning Channel or something like that. So we went to the premiere or a special screening of it. It was a big party in Manhattan, and everybody who got in got to get one of these gloves. I got a glove. I forgot whoever else went with it. I think Roland got a glove, whatever. But it's a custom Mike Tyson's pigeon show, whatever, ever glove. When he came back in, with Tyson and some of the boxers have this thing where they'll sign anything but boxing gloves because they make money doing that at sports shows and what have you. And I said, "Oh, okay." And the guy who was with Tyson, he goes, "Oh, wait a minute. Were you at the premiere party?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know," because they gave you the gloves and they wanted you to go talk to Mike and get the glove signed. That's why they gave it to you, so you could do it at that event. I said, "Yeah, there was just too many people and I didn't want to bother him. I knew he was coming in a couple days after that to our show, so I just thought it would be easier to do it here rather than try to, bother him there." Mm-hmm. And the guy saw that it was the custom glove that meant you were at the event. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's fine." great. So hanging over there, you know what? If you give me a moment,
Yeah, I was gonna say, just put the big screen on.
we'll look at lovely
Not
Jordan
me.
for a second.
Look at me
with your
Look at
pineapple
my
haircut.
stuff. I know it's everywhere right now. Yeah, no, I've got like I said, you grabbed me. You had sent me. I think I got The Conjuring back there, and then Death Proof signed by Robert Rodriguez, which is hilarious because that is actually a really funny one for me because you sent that, and I appreciate it. And I love it. But
Which
Robert
one?
Rodriguez, you sent Death Proof.
Oh,
with
Death
Robert
Proof, yeah.
Rodriguez, which is great. Love Robert Rodriguez. Love Death Proof. The funny thing is that he signed the one that Tarantino directed. That's not even the one he directed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is kind of funny. I'm like, that's actually a really funny bit. So like, that's a good one for me. I like that.
I could look to see if I have Death Proof. Not Death Proof. The other one. What was it? Terror Planet.
Yeah, the Planet Terror. Yeah.
Planet Terror. I can look and see. I probably have that one. I still have a bin of stuff that was signed that we were doing.
Movie stuff, man. I'd be all fine with everything.
I have a bin of stuff of toys that companies would give me to give away, and
Right.
stuff that we would get signed by people that we'd put away to give away on the air.
Mm-hmm.
That when it left and everything, I took that bin with me. Like I'm not leaving that there for them. So it's sitting over there in the corner that has stuff signed. I think there's a bunch of those movies in there. I'll go and take a look.
Stuff the shark head with whatever you can.
Right. This was the Mike Tyson glove.
To Eric.
So see, look, it's official Everlast, but it has what was it called? Taking on Tyson on Animal Planet. That's what it was on.
Gotcha.
But I had that glove, and his handler's like, "Oh, you were at the event? Yeah, he'll sign that for you."
That's really cool.
So I have that. I have this, and then I have 1 year from San Diego Comic-Con. He had that show that was on Adult Swim called Mike Tyson Mysteries.
I was just gonna mention Mike Tyson Mysteries. It was one of my favorites.
They gave
because
out.
we had what's his face, the guy who does Bugs Bunny's voice,
Right.
and we had mentioned because he did a voice on Mike Tyson's Mysteries. And we had talked about this within the last year.
Who?
The guy who does the Bug Bunny voice. What's his name?
Oh, Joe. Oh my God. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, because he did voices.
Because Norm
on that
Macdonald was the pigeon. Tyson was Tyson.
show. Yeah. God, such a good show.
What was I just gonna say now? I forgot.
He did the show.
Oh, the Mike Tyson's Mysteries. So we were doing something at San Diego Comic-Con, Matt and I, and we did. At the time, they had like this big, giant courtyard outside of between the hotel and the convention center that Adult Swim took over and made like their own carnival and a drive-in movie theater. Like at night, they were screening movies and shows that were Adult Swim properties. You could sit on the lawn, camp out, and watch these giant movies at night. But during the day, they have a carnival thing going on, and I have two. At least I hope I have two. I know I have one, but I had two. They make Mike Tyson face koozies, and it was the face from Mike Tyson's Punch Out, where you'd see his corner, his face in the square in the corner when you were going to fight him between rounds. That digital 8-bit face is on the koozie. So if I have an extra one of those, I'll send it to you. But I have that one, and I bring that out every summer. And if somebody makes a comment, it's like, "What the hell did you get that?" It's like, "You ain't touching that. That one's mine."
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's a little hard to do now since I don't drink soda anymore, but just got to find different ways to flaunt it. All right. Continuing on here. Whoops.
Fun. We got to get something signed by him, and there were no consequences, and there was no sort of. We didn't care about looking unprofessional because it wasn't us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If nobody's going to tell us not to do this, we're going to do this.
On a stupid show.
We're total idiots.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, what a terrible thing to do to guests. That's crazy. That's a crazy, crazy thing.
Yeah. Now I understood. Now I understand why some producers were like, "You absolutely cannot do that."
Yeah. Our original producer was like, "No, nobody's getting anything signed."
And Ben, our producer when we started at XM, Ben, he wasn't wrong, but in the spirit of the show, he was wrong. He wouldn't let me take photos in the studio when a guest was in there. Like, it was one thing that Opant and Jim were getting their photos, but we were in the age of Steve had a website that was ahead of YouTube, that was ahead of Facebook, everything. We were putting video clips up there in Real Player and all that. Like, nobody else was doing this stuff. So we would make galleries. When a guest was in studio, we'd take candid shots in there. And Ben got to a point where he was screaming at me. He's like, you're not allowed to do this anymore. You're not allowed to take photos and what have you. So I don't know how many days go by, and I'm kind of annoyed. And Ope's like, like elbowing. It's like, get photos of this. I'm like, I'm not allowed to. And he's like, what? And then that became a thing on the air. He's like, who told you you're not allowed to? And I was like, because O&A did everything on air. It's like, Ben told us that we're not allowed to take photos or anything like that. And then that quickly got thrown out the window that I was allowed to take photos in there. And Steve was in there with the camera taking video. Why couldn't we take photos of what else was going on? The candid shit behind the scenes stuff during the interviews, what have you. Once that rule was dismissed, and the new rule was we're allowed to get photos of stuff and people are allowed to get photos, then Jim started bringing all these things in where he was getting signed. And then that became, well, everyone else around here is allowed to get stuff signed. They work on the show. And then it blew up into that. Like it was give him the quintessential, give him an inch and he'll take a mile. That's what we did.
Then it overcorrected.
You're a buzzkill.
The what?
I was going to say, did you guys ever run into a situation where like you had someone on and you guys were ready to get all this stuff signed and they just flat out said, fuck you, and that's not happening?
Kurt Russell.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Kurt Russell.
That hurts me a little bit.
Kurt Russell did not want to sign anything. He didn't even want to sign anything for the hosts. And I think Norton broke him down and got something signed.
Do you think you would bring in like an old like clamshell Disney movie of the computer wore tennis shoes? And
I don't
sign
know.
That
you saw
sake?
a very, very sad and dejected E-Rock with his Stargate movie poster not being able to get signed. And it's signed by two other people, and I couldn't get Kurt Russell to sign. Because who's asking him to sign a Stargate anything?
Right? That's what I'm saying.
It's like when they killed woke because it was too woke. It overcorrected. A little woke is probably the right amount.
Yeah.
Stir in a little. But they overcorrected, and they overcorrected that way too. They were like, no DVDs signed. Everyone gets multiple.
So much.
Yep.
So much.
And it's just like, I can't imagine now going to a show as a guest.
Yeah.
And looking at a table, because I would go like,
a bunch of shit.
I'd be like Tom Brady at a charity auction going like, no, dude, I get paid to do this. I'm not just signing everybody's shit.
I mean, we would continue it here.
Oh, yeah.
We did it here when we
Eric would
first
just
got
bring
here.
stuff out into the lobby.
Yeah, he would. He didn't care.
God bless him.
Can I tell you something? Can I
Okay,
tell you
go
something?
ahead.
You know what Eric did sometimes to avoid the talent department?
The what?
So many Funko Pops and
Oh, no, this is before the Funko Pop
Well,
stuff.
yeah.
Because once I had my show, I had a deal with Funko. I knew the people over there, and I would tell them in advance who we had guests coming, and they would tell me if they had something related to that guest or the property that they were part of in some way, shape, or form, would send overnight me or like 2-day delivery a box of Pops. And my only thing I had to do was get one signed to send back to Funko. The rest, was either for the staff of my show, or I gave a lot of shit away on my Sirius show. Every night we were giving away signed Funkos and DVDs, video games, all of that. I was trying to buy the audience, It's just like, we're giving away all this shit. So listen. But yeah, Funko used to have a deal, had a deal with them. They would send me stuff. I would get it signed. I'd send one back to Funko. And then, if Giddles wanted one, Matt wanted one, or if somebody I owed a favor to at talent department, like, can I get that? Yeah, There you go. And then I'd have at least one to give away on the air. And that's what we did.
You would hear.
We did it here when we
Eric
first
would just
got
bring
here.
stuff out into the lobby.
Yeah, he would. He didn't care.
God bless him.
Can I tell you
Eric-
something? Can I
okay,
tell you
go
something?
ahead.
You know what Eric did sometimes to avoid the talent department? He'd go he'd bring all our shit with him. Like, he would not be selfish about it. He was really good about it.
No, I always made sure if anybody had something, I'd walk around. You have anything you want? I'd get it done because I didn't care. Like, we're getting this done. We're probably never going to see this famous person ever again. Sure. This is the chance. This is go time.
He would get celebrities to sign stuff in the elevator bank.
Yes, that's exactly
Yes,
what I
he
was
would.
going to say.
Yes, he would.
We were specifically told Edward Norton would not sign anything.
And Eric was like, well, good. Elevator bank is free property.
Eric goes, bet.
Yeah.
He walked out there, and you know what I got that day? Fight Club signed by Ed Norton.
And that's a sick item.
I have that too.
But elevator bank, he said, that's community property.
That's international waters.
Right.
There's no law.
It's maritime law here.
And if you couldn't get the elevator bank, you'd get him in the elevator. If you couldn't get him in the elevator, you'd be down in the lobby downstairs to get him in the elevator. As long as it was before they walked out the door, you'll see so many TMZ clips of when they run into celebrities in New York. They're coming out these rotating doors. If it's not NBC, it's Sirius XM. So they would be there all the time. So as long as I could get to them before they walked out those doors, because then there's all the other people, like the celebrity, the guys who stalk celebrities at the airport and stuff like that.
I've seen those.
That have
stacks of photos.
Yeah, or they have the big cardboard thing that floats out, and there's like 19 photos that they try to get them to sign by holding it like that. As long as I could get them before they leave the building, it was fair game. At least in my mind, it was.
Maritime law. And they were like, where'd you get that information? He's like, I just thought about it. And really, I think it checks out. Yeah. I mean, he's in the elevator bank just getting people to sign shit. Can you imagine? I couldn't get, there are hosts here that work here at Sirius every day that I wouldn't do that to, let alone a guest coming in.
It was a different time, though.
It was a different time.
Because I think O&A came here, and it was just this kind of like, fuck everybody.
There was still a free-for-all mentality. I remember Tarantino came in once. And then he had to do like a phoner after the interview with O&A. And he did the phoner in our office.
That's right.
And while he's on the phone, everybody's just sliding him items.
No, while he was on the phone, there were a few things in there that we had wanted to get signed. And he left the office and he had signed everything.
He just saw it.
He was on the phone and he just like, I know
That's
that he
so
signed.
cool.
Yeah, like.
That's so cool.
Okay. Let me clarify a little bit about this thing. So they are correct, but here's some extra information for it.
He signed it all Roger Moore.
That'd be great. Roger Moore just signs every famous thing that we have. So Quentin Tarantino comes in, and this wasn't the first time he's been on the show. I think this might have been like the third time he was on the show. And we were told at this point that he needs to do a phoner for something. He has a phone interview or phone meeting or whatever, coordinated with Roland that he needed an office to use the phone. So they were going to use our office, which is the office Roland and I shared. But after that, after he was done with O&A, he immediately had to go in and do that stuff. So in the studio...
that's cool.
So that's Anthony. Let me see if I can make this bigger there. So that's Anthony's Pulp Fiction poster, which, by the way, he got that like museum glass framed and everything. It was hanging in his studios when he was still living on Long Island. I'm sure it's in his house down South Carolina, but he had it there. And then there was only other thing I don't remember what this was here, but that Travis had something that he got signed, but. He had to.
Oh, that's a Reservoir Dogs poster. Looks like a Mondo.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Travis was into all of those. Those things
you can
too.
See the straight razor that he gets his ear cut off with.
Very cool. So he has to go to our office to do the meeting, and I'm sitting there. I'm trying to think ahead. I'm like, oh, damn, we're not going to be able to get the other stuff signed. I was like, well, he's going to use our thing. So I purposely left it stacked on my desk, and I put the silver Sharpie right next to it. And I knew he was going to use my phone, my desk phone, because he needed a landline to make his call, right? So, what are you... Stop talking to the chat in the chat. What are you talking about here?
You're tell your story.
No. Hold on. No, I forget it. So I knew he was going to be in there. I'm like, there might be a chance he sees it sitting there and he might just want to sign it. And lo and behold, my theory was proven true because he was sitting there talking on the phone, whatever, just leaned over, took the marker and started signing the things I had on my desk. One of the things, everyone else got, I think I have a movie somewhere signed. I don't remember which one. I might have gotten Kill Bill or something.
That's pretty good.
What I got is something that I know nobody has, or at least that I'm aware of that nobody has. You saw Anthony got a movie poster. Travis got the Mondo poster, which is also another unique piece. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because Mondo, I mean, I have a Mondo Return of the Living Dead, and it's like one of 175. So like they are very limited quantity.
But they're high quality work.
They're very good.
So it's very cool if you get that kind of thing. I went one step further. I'm like, well, I don't know anything about the Mondo posters. I don't know about some of the other things. What do I know about? Oh, yeah, I know about this. And I remembered I had one of these, and I brought it in, and boom.
The reaction
folder where he's in his robe with the mug.
Yeah.
Can you put me on a single shot there?
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
That's what I got signed. You can see, I don't know if you can see it there. All right, back to 2. There you go. So whatever else that was in there, he got signed. But I was so happy I came in and I'm like, oh, he signed the thing because I left. We had the Post-it notes for who it was supposed to be signed for, and he spelled my name correctly. Everything is great. I have to put this back in the clamshell that I got for it. But
that's really cool.
Yeah, you're looking at deep psychosis of all of us here. Me more than the rest of them, and then Jim more than me.
Oh, trust me, I would probably, I would be in that same situation if I had that access like you guys have. That would have been me as well, because I do things like I go to like conventions for those kinds of things, and one of my favorite pieces that I have is that I had this Halloween book that I have signed by the guy who played Michael Myers, and he also directed The Last Starfighter. But like,
let me open that up again. The way I want to give a single shot on that, if you could.
The pen is interesting. Like he didn't use.
I was just gonna say the way the pen is on there, it looks like it was printed with the book.
Yeah, no, he signed that. In fact, it was funny. I went to this convention, ended up taking my daughter with me, and I went up, got in line, went to talk to Nick Castle. I was so excited. Yeah, one of my favorite. It's my favorite, horror franchise and stuff like that.
Right.
And he saw my daughter. And was talking to my daughter the whole time because he has grandkids her age. So I'm sitting here trying to meet the guy that like sparked my love of horror movies and things like that. And he's hanging out with my kid. And I'm just like, and I got a picture of the three of them. My daughter didn't even want to be there. And I'm just sitting there with Nick Castle taking a picture. And my daughter's in it with me. And I got him to sign this. It's fantastic. Next time if I have the opportunity to meet him or sign again, I'm going to bring The Last Starfighter.
Hey, put your hand on the screen there. See if you can fix your white balance because it looks like you're dying now. All right, move it back. There you go. Now you got some color, and you're alive again.
Right. So yeah, like if I had that access like you guys, I probably would have been just as insane about just putting anything I could put my hands out in there, especially with some of these older actors that you probably won't ever see again, or unfortunately might pass soon. Things like that. Like that's impressive.
Let's continue on.
I thought he was a real good dude for just doing that. Like he just assumed like, oh, this is stuff that they want me to sign. I guess I'll just do it.
Yeah, I have they put out a Quentin Tarantino Blu-ray set, like of all the movies. I have that signed by Quentin. That's on display.
I'll keep that.
And I have a Sopranos box set signed by David Chase, which it's like
you have to keep that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
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 And that's because I interviewed.
You don't have License to Drive displayed? You should put that up in your studio.
I really should.
See, you should unfold it so it's flat and frame it.
And then remember Johnny Rotten was in.
Oh yeah,
I think he did either Opie and Jim, or did he do O&A? I think he did O&A.
Yeah,
and he had a great interview.
And it was a gamble. I remember. Like I don't know. We'll see.
He could be weird.
Yeah.
And I remember him having a great time. And then he came out and he signed a couple things, and he doesn't like signing Sex Pistols stuff.
Sure.
Like, it's like really like and I put it down in front of him, like he got done signing stuff, and I put the record down and he goes, and then he signs it. I was like, yes!
Still does I had one of those when Brock Lesnar came in.
Wait, what? Did you say something?
No.
I thought you said something.
I think I maybe hit the mic.
No, it sounded like Dumb Troy in the back, so I guess I thought it was you.
He got done signing stuff, and I put the record down and he goes, and then he signs it. I was like, yes!
I had one of those when Brock Lesnar came in to promote his book.
Yeah.
And he was not in WWE, he was in UFC at the time, but he was actually in to promote his book. He actually did an interview, and I brought my wrestling chair in.
Wait a minute. Do I have... okay, go ahead.
think you have it.
And Brock, the interview was good, and Brock looked at the wrestling chair, and he was very anti-pro wrestling at that point. And he did one of those breaths and then he picked it up, and he acted like he was going to hit me with it, and then he kind of laughed, and he signed it.
And he probably...
Yeah. Hold on. Here we go. There it is. Sam had this was his second.
He's got a lot on there.
This was his second chair. Like he just had a regular chair. Like you get this at where? Like at Office Max or something. Yep. It's just a basic metal chair that he had signed by tons of wrestlers. I think this was his second chair that was getting covered in there. But like Sam said, he saw that it was, all these wrestlers had signed it. So it was obviously a keepsake, not something to sell.
I was going to say, even though Lesnar was anti-wrestling at the time, you got to think that he sees this, and you're right, sees it as this is like a grail of history of wrestling. You got to put your name on it. Like, regardless of your feelings of the sport and the company or whatever, put your signature on there. Put your old Herbie Hancock.
I have a WrestleMania box set. Mm-hmm. And I forgot how many years it goes up to. I think it went up to like WrestleMania 22. And I don't even know. I'm looking at the list right now of how many Brock signed it too. So if I can get this to show, I don't have this screenshot, but you can see right there, my WrestleMania box set is signed by, hold on. Try that. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Look at all the names of the people.
That's all signed it? Oh, my God.
All signed it, right? So I have the WrestleMania box set signed.
I do love have you have Virgil on there.
Yeah. I think that was another case.
I didn't want you signing this either.
I think that was another case where I just didn't want.
You didn't want to tell him no?
Didn't want to deal with it, and he signed the thing. But I have him sign that. And then I have 2 UFC video games they put out because they were putting them out like by year.
Yeah.
And they're signed by at least 1 or 2 dozen fighters that we would come in.
That's cool.
And if I went and looked back at the list, they're probably like all the major names through the golden era of UFC that, if God forbid something tragic happens, or if I'm down on my luck, that'll go for a pretty penny. I don't want to sign it. It's well taken care of. I sell it. It's well taken care of, but you never know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I remember, God rest their souls, the Coyotes, when they had changed their logo from the Kachina to like their new redo, they did this big thing where all the players were going around to different parts of the valley in Arizona and be like, you can go and do meet and greets. And I must have taken, I think, the week off of work.
I prefer
and
meet
I would
and
drive
greets.
over to all these places, and I had a jersey signed by the entire team at that point. And it's like one of my favorite things in the world, and like I keep it tucked away because.
And then they moved out of your city and then changed their name, and
don't
you were for naught. Super agent, Hollywood agent Rob Stark is in the chat there. Didn't Jim get Brock to put him in a heel hook or something then? Yeah, Jim, whenever we had UFC people in there, Jim would insist on them doing some kind of move on them and explain the move. And then Jim would react accordingly to how painful it was. What Rob's talking about is this.
And so I wanted to know if you would put me in something.
Nope.
Damn it. Why does it keep doing that?
Every time.
Here we go.
And so I wanted to know if you would put me in something, but not. I tap very quickly, and
he tapped so quick,
really quick. I'll just do something really simple on you.
He's grabbing my leg.
Yeah, this is.
Hold on, where do I tap now, Brock? That's a very important.
This is just something.
All right,
really
he's got him
simple.
around the calf.
My hand is
This
here.
is
With his
it.
arm.
Okay, he's got
That's
my
all.
he's
This
got my
is it.
calf, and
now
like,
he's putting the front of.
Oh, wow! Now, what Brock did was he took my leg. He's got my leg under his arm.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised. We could do that just one more time, but not for a long time.
The leverage he's got on his shin.
That's just an Achilles lock.
That's an Achilles lock?
This is.
okay.
This would be a heel hook.
A heel hook. Oh, that looks. Wow, that's not good. Oh, I don't like the heel hook at all. Wow. Do you know how you knew that was going to suck? Because as he's explaining, there's no pressure being applied. I'm like, I don't like this already. That's how you would beat me. If we were fighting and you just went heel hook, I'd go, all right. I'm fucking finished.
He tapped at the fucking monologue.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
So
it's pretty.
There you go.
The fact that he was professional enough to still try to describe it on air.
Mm-hmm.
when it was still painful is still really good. It's like, what's happening now is that I'm in immense pain.
All right, he's rolling up the cuff of my pant leg. My calf is exposed. He's pulling up my ankle socks.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
And now I lost all feeling and I'm paralyzed.
Yeah.
Jim was good like that. They put him in so many different moves, stretching him out and submission holds, and those videos still to this day get passed around of just this guy getting UFC moves put on him.
That's good.
Yeah, go look it up. Look up Jim Norton UFC, and then every version, like John Bones Jones coming in, Forrest Griffin, all those people doing stuff. I think even Ronda Rousey? One of the female champions did something to Jim, and that was hilarious too. Finishing up with Sam's show.
Looked at it and he saw all the signatures that you have on it.
Right, and it's but I can't.
But Brock's a hard one.
There's not a lot of people that have Brock signatures in general.
Yeah.
The fact that on that chair, and I think that's the same chair that has like Hogan and Piper and like all these other people on it.
You're going to put their kids through college.
Yeah.
You should put that up on Fanatics Live.
That's true.
Is that ONA he was in on?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember Club Soda Kenny got a picture. The Club Soda Kenny never got pictures.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Somebody else that I was worried about that ended up being great was Jeff Goldblum. Because you heard
he played the movie game,
but you heard through the years like he could be a tough interview
because he's his own vibe.
He's his own vibe. Same thing with Billy Bob Thornton, and he was incredible.
Well, I mean, Billy Bob Thornton is notorious for his bad interview. His interview gone awry is one of the pillars of internet lore.
Right. I think I have. Why did this stuff never show up when you want? There it is. Look, Jeff Goldblum was too tall. He had to squat down to the console to sign Jim's photo with him.
That's pretty good.
I got to go through. I just don't have enough time in my day because people were like, you got to throw the archives online. Yeah, it takes a long time to digitize this stuff. Not everything from, what was it, like 94 to 2004 aren't fully digitized. They're on DAT tapes and mini discs and things. And I just don't have the time to do it in real time anymore. And then I have this giant photo archive where I have lots of candid behind the scene things like this. I don't know what possessed me, but I'm glad I did it, that I was taking photos of celebrities signing things or just awkward moments in the hallway. And they turn out to be some of the greatest things to look back and look at.
This is exactly why you do it. Like this is perfect for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I did. Glad I did all of that. Well, we had more radio stuff to do, but we've gone too long as it is. So we can talk about the Hollywood Reporter article about Nicole from K-Rock in L.A. leaving. We could do the Opie video next week, and then we still have the Woody Show stuff that we haven't done, which is already weeks removed and forgotten about, but not by us. We will go through that saga and bring life to it once again.
Yeah, we can do Radio Part 2 next week.
All right. Is there anything else? I do want to. This is timely, so we can do this then. Okay. And no, it's not about MSNBC becoming MS Now or that right. Dumb, horrible branding that they decided they thought was a good idea. Since we're talking about stuff with the internet, and they had mentioned like Billy Bob Thornton's interview that went wrong was an internet legend, things along those lines. Do you remember, I think at least 15 years ago, maybe? Do you know who Donnie Dumphy is?
The name sounds familiar.
Donnie Dumphy is this character from Newfoundland. And he had a song where he was just like this white, trashy Canadian, what do they call them, Newfies?
Yeah.
That was trying to be a rapper. And when it first came out, people couldn't tell if this was a bit or if this was a real guy. And then it was revealed later that it was a bit. But he had a song called Having a Time that for a small portion became a really big internet success. Do you remember? Does any of this ring a bell or not?
Yeah,
really?
no, I'm picturing the guy. Long hair, usually wearing no sleeves.
Right. Well, I'll show you a little bit of the...
and now what you've really been waiting for, the new music video.
Okay, yeah, that's the cool.
Yeah, Buzz. It's Donnie Dumphy here. Just out rapping, no jib rap. People always ask Donnie, you know, what are you all about? Well, here it is.
It was just this. I used to, you know what? Ron and Fez used to play this a lot, and there'd be times where you'd be going, wheelies, having a time. You know, just in the back doing for no reason.
Made my first $50 rolling smokes for a motor. First thing I bought was a case of beer and a rubber. I was born in the cab and the boys were too. Looking at each other, sure our doors at you. There's nothing like sitting with a bottle of Screech, a purity cracker and a bucket of salt beef. Then heads to Jimmers to get me script, and you know what that means, 1,200 bits! Drop down the 9 sitting next to me. I'm weighing grams, she's watching Jeopardy. See, I get my inspiration from the movie Dune. Best order wasn't Gucci, it was Boom.
Donnie.
Brenda, what do you want?
Take us for a ride, take us for a jaunt.
Honda 50, get her on the go, get her on the grab. I don't mind on the front,
I don't mind on the back.
Stop at the shop for a loaf of bread. Spent all our money on Nevadas instead. Cherries.
I guess there was those pull tab mottos.
Right.
This part here.
I wouldn't be so inclined, cause I'm not freaking around. And I'm just having a time. Having a time. That's what I said, I'm just having a time. Breakfast, having a time. Wheelie, having a time. Headlock, having a time. Drunk tank, not so much a time. If you got beef with Dumphy, end up with 2 black eyes. Your mother had it coming, and I'm still having a time.
Hash, Spotter only smokes the hash by Gold Stein.
Yeah, hash only gets you so fucking high unless you got a 4-wheel drive. I'll say this once and I'll say it clearly. Dumphy's on the cup next to Danny Cleary. I'm Clyde, Brenda's Bonnie. You may drink like a fish, but a fish drinks like Donnie. Was gonna ask Brenda to marry me, but then wrestling came on. It was WWE. Come on, get down with the Dumphy.
Well, anyway, you get the point, right?
So funny.
So, the reason why I bring this up, because that was a long time ago. The guy who plays Donnie Dumphy is bringing it to life as a TV series.
Oh, no.
And it's available now. In Canada, it's on a network called Fibe TV1, F-I-B-E TV1, Fibe, I don't know how you pronounce that. TV1. It just started on August 21st, so it's out now. I'm sure it's going to be leaked online. I'm sure it's going to be available somewhere. I don't know where you can actually legally watch it in the United States, but there's a TV series about it now. I got the trailer. We need to take a look at this and add it to our list of things to watch.
Well, boys, I'll show you around the studio. We got the afternoon land.
Donnie is working on his album. That's our focus right now.
You know, it's going to be number 1. It's going to change both of our lives.
They look
Donnie's
so much older.
a freaking bum, and you're going to fund his rap album.
His pen is bleeding right now.
What about that rent?
Couple of days.
Good-looking girl like her, she could be making some money on her back.
He ain't worth $250.
Hey, Stephen.
Heart to heart.
Yeah, that's all we do.
Red light time. We're going in. We're going in.
So the show's called Littledale.
God.
So, it's just these white trash people using all their money to have him record a rap album, and they think this is going to solve all their problems. So, I just found that out this week. I'm like, oh, shit, we need to promote that. So, if you like Donnie Dumphy and having a time, if you remember that, there's a TV show called Littledale. Again, it's out on the Fibe TV1 network up in Canada. I'm sure it'll be available online very soon. So I just thought maybe we'd want to bring that up, and
I'll find that.
You all check that out. With that being said, we are going to get out of here for this week. So, Jordan, as always, our nation's eyes turn to you.
You can find me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube at Jinx Ronan, Twitch at Jinx Ronan79. I've been doing some streaming. Come hang out with Tom from Alberta. He's getting lonely watching me die and shoot people. If you have an Amazon subscription, you would like to use that subscription to get a 1-month free subscription to Twitch at our Twitch channel. It's Eric Nagel. Go over there, click that button, get it for a month. You're not paying any extra. You already got the subscription with Amazon. Helps us out. You're going to be doing pretty good.
All right. For me and the show and all of that good stuff, at It's Eric Nagel across the board on all the social medias. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, do us a kindness, put us in the first position on the presets. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify and those kind of platforms, you can also do us a kindness and go over there and leave us a positive review. It does help out the show, and if you don't, I'll know. If you want to listening on the radio stuff here and you want to join us live each and every week as we do this program, head over to our live rooms on Twitch and on YouTube at It's Eric Nagel. Like, subscribe. If you're watching this video right now, hit the fucking like button. What are you doing? We should have said that earlier, despite the thing scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Having a time. So yeah, go over there and look, if you can't do the live things, I totally get it. The videos, the full shows, everything are available on the YouTube channel when it is most convenient for you to watch. All right, I think that's it. Did we forget anything?
No, we're good.
All right.
I know Tom was mentioning the disaster stuff. Maybe we'll put together something and we'll do disasters. I was actually just thinking about that today.
There's been too many disasters. Like
the world is going crazy.
Even more than we can keep up with. Because every time we clip stuff and we go, all right, we'll do the disaster. Like 6 other things happen. I go, some of those disasters we can't even like goof on. You know, it's just like, it's too bad. So we got to figure out a way to work disasters back into the show.
I agree.
It's going to happen at some point. Until then, everybody, until the next time,
be excellent to each other.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Eric Nagel. Batman is so much cooler than James Bond.
What are you talking about? 007 has all those gadgets.
Batman has a utility belt.
007 has a fancy car.
Batman has the Batmobile.
007 gets all the ladies.
Batman has Robin. We get ESPN, right?
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Eric Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itsericnagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends, and they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.